What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Soda.
And I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
Welcome back to the first show. Every episode is our first episode. Guys, I'm at Ref Marsh. Happy to have you guys here for a drink. Kev, go ahead and introduce yourself. Kev?
Hello,
Is Kev talking?
Kev? Can you
Klump.
hear me, Kev? Hi.
Yeah. Klump, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Howdy there, everybody. My name's Eric. You can call me Klump. My Twitter handle's CrybabyKlump. This is the most excited I'll be the entire night.
That is probably excited as you'll be. Oh, he's trying to introduce himself. I saw him do his hands like an X. Kev, we cannot hear you. So I'm pretty positive he can hear us. We heard him a second ago.
It's okay. It's okay if the video doesn't work. It's an audio format, Klump.
I know. Klump had his video all messed up. We got that sorted out.
If you're just joining us, this is our first show.
Yeah, it's only the first show. Not a bad deal.
We had hopes for show 2.
Yeah, we definitely did. We really thought we could be getting to show 2 at some point here.
Yeah.
All right, Kev's standing up. I think that means he's going to go try to fix that. Hopefully we'll have Kev here in just a second as we get going and hopefully get him back. Klump, what are you drinking? What's in your cup?
I have coffee as well as sparkling water. Coffee. And this is
that
homemade coffee.
homemade coffee?
Mm-hmm.
What do you put in your coffee when it's homemade? Anything different?
Just cream.
Just a gallon?
No, like, it's not cream with coffee in it. I put less cream when I make it at home.
Like when I make it at home, it's whipping cream.
When shit goes south, it's skim milk, and it's the worst day ever.
Oh yeah, this sucks.
Nothing quite tastes like depression, like having like coffee with skim milk.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'd rather have almond milk than skim.
Can you guys hear
I'm
me now?
having. Hey, Kevlar's
Oh.
joined the show.
Woohoo!
What's up?
What's going on, man? How you doing, Kev? Introduce yourself.
I'm good. I'm Kevlar on the Rocks with an X.
Oh.
Number 2.
You said what? Number 2?
Try number 2.
Try number 2. Yes. Take 2. Episode 1. No big deal.
He's sounding low.
He's sounding a little bit low, but I think it's just because of where he is. And if we put him up, it's gonna put Klump up. It'll offset the whole thing.
All the way.
I know, but I'm saying if we were to try to add a filter, it's gonna mess up with both of them. So Kev's just gonna have to yell at us. He's all,
Okay.
this is what I thought. Kev, what are you drinking?
Ginger ale.
Nice. What brand? Canada Dry?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. And some maple
Alright.
syrup, like Kofi recommended.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Shots of maple syrup with Kofi, I think, is on board. I'm having blueberry lemonade. Because
Ooh, fancy.
yeah, it's pretty fancy. The flavored beverage from Constant. Oh, I thought it says organic, but it's misleading. I'm just gonna say that. It's definitely misleading.
And do you want
Are you more upset that it's healthy?
Yes, Klump. I'm absolutely more upset that it's healthy.
Do you want to explain why you're having that instead of some whiskey as normal?
The producer here.
That's not what I sound like.
No one would ever say that you did. Bill, did you want to explain it? I hurt my throat doing it this time.
God damn it.
Oh.
That's what you get.
Well, it is October, as everyone knows. It's Sober for October. You can go to... Oh, man. I can't even find it now. Macmillan is the charity. It is... Oh, my God. How is this impossible to find all of a sudden? Well, Sober for October is a fundraising thing for Macmillan Cancer Society. And you can go on to... But where is this link, man? I thought it was Sober... .october.gov or some shit. Hold on. There it is, the gosober.org.uk. And you can check out the Go Sober for October challenge, where you can sign up, and you sign up for either 21 days, 14 days, or a full 31 days. And you share out that link and have people donate, and they donate to this cause of helping people with cancer Macmillan Cancer Support. So they help people who have cancer live more comfortably. So I think it's a good cause. I thought it was something worth talking about. I do think that it's very important to drive home the fact that it's not about what you are drinking. It is about who you are drinking with. And I've said that for a long time. Was completely sober for the better part of 2 years and did not go to the bars almost any less at all, because the company that I kept was still company I wanted to continue to keep. I just changed what I was drinking, and I thought that this was a good way to get that message across as well. I mean, Klump, since episode 1, you have not been drinking alcohol with us, and we still want you here every show because your presence is more important than your drink.
Yeah, as Kanye West would say, my presence is a present.
It's controversial.
It's a lyric from a song. It's the one of the few songs I like that his ass did.
He's got good songs.
Yeah, no, it's just as time goes on and he talks more now.
Well, he's also got a Twitter, but when you listen to his CDs, you don't see his Twitter. So,
Yeah,
you know,
no,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's
fine.
true.
I can differentiate. Kev, how you feeling? You haven't been on in a bit.
Good, tired, running around.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Kids keeping me busy.
Good. Let's see. So your kids are getting back into sports. They're not yet ready for pro wrestling, so they will not be tag team champions soon. But when they are, I'm ready to cut their first promo on their behalf as their manager. I'll be Marsh Cornett. We got Coach in the chat. If you guys are watching live on twitch.tv/wrestling on the rocks, go ahead and give us a little Prime Subscribe scrub and
Prime Subscribe.
A Prime Subscribe sub, and let us know in the chat what you're drinking too. What was that, Kev?
I was just going to say this sober for October is going great for you.
Oh, yeah. I know.
How do you slur more with less alcohol?
The less the alcohol drives me, man. It's what fixes me up.
That's true. I do remember when I drank that you could kind of barrel through sentences.
Yeah. You just speak with blind confidence when you're drinking, and the words just they hit harder. Coach says he's having his favorite mixed drink. Yeah. Coach saying he's having his favorite mixed drink in the chat right here. 2 parts hydrogen for 1 part oxygen. Sounds chilling and terrifying. He's also a teacher, I believe, so he knows the science. So
what is he a teacher of? Because he could very well be a teacher.
Clearly science.
Or he just knows the compounds of water.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got kids. You tell me.
You better not make it a double for that second oxygen, or he'll die.
Yeah. Double down. Double. Let's see, guys. Was there anything in wrestling news that you guys wanted to get out of the way? You guys wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. Not on my half.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot we're going to talk about here.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. We got to get over Takeover. We got to talk about AEW Dynamite, 30 years of Jericho, Jericho, as I like to say. And we've got the fallout of Takeover as well. So I'm going to say this right before we get into the one piece of news I have about AEW leading into our talk of AEW, if that's all right with you guys. I wanted to shout out one more time Mission Pro Wrestling. If you check out missionprowrestling.net, we have sponsored them in their tournament Out of Hell. If you go to their website, you can see their flyer. It's got a list of, man, how many is this? 3, 6, 8, 16 women are going to be in this tournament who are going to be fighting for probably justice for all. It's a really cool promotion. Oh, there's that fanny pack you talked about last week, Klump. That looks good. There's 2 different versions. They got really good stuff on there. Merch they have. It's going to be a really cool show. Check it out. It does look like if you are in town, if you're in Texas, you can get VIP tickets for $60, general admission for $20. Otherwise, it'll be streaming live on Wrestling Network. I'm sure if you go to missionprowrestling.net, you can read up more about how you're going to be able to stream that live. What's going on, Klump?
You got me excited about a fanny pack. It's just the showing of the ass end of it, too.
Oh, that's the backside of it?
Yeah.
Dude, I've never seen a reversible fanny pack. I
No,
gotta
it's
admit.
just turned the fuck around.
Why would you put something on the back? It's misleading.
I don't know.
We don't put prints on the inside of the shirts. All
It'd be
T-shirts
cool if
have
they
print
did.
on the outside.
Not all of them.
No.
Remember the tribe shirts with the dinosaur and the zombie BFM on the inside?
Oh, that's
What was
actually
scarier than the
That's a
shirt
good
being
point.
lifted up was seeing my belly.
true. Yes. Everyone screamed and then they saw the shirt.
Yeah.
See, coach is clarifying it's water. See, he's a very good teacher. I told you. Gio Lunar's asking what's up. He's saying he's having issues with the stream, so I don't know if it's him or us. When I look at I know for us, I just hear us going smooth in our recording, but I do see choppiness on my phone screen. So, is there anything on the bottom? Any errors or anything like that? Double check, I suppose. But that's it. I want to throw that out there. Mission Pro Wrestling, an all-women's league run by Thunder Rosa, and we've decided to sponsor them because we really believe in what they're putting out there. So check them out, missionprowrestling.net. The only thing I had before we... What was that, Klump? Kev?
I just said do it.
Do it. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Let's see. Matt Cardona did an interview, and I wrote it down because it was we're a little bit old news on this one because it was like right after we did our show last week. But he clarified he's not signed with AEW. He'd signed like a 1 month or 2 month deal with them. It was a very short term contract, and that he's no longer with them. That was his run, and he's stay tuned for what he's doing next, kind of a deal. What do you guys think about Matt Cardona not being with AEW anymore?
I think that could be bad for AEW. I mean, every time you bring in somebody that's recognizable, you bring in more fans. So just to sign them for a month and then drop them, basically, kind of shitty.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of shitty too. Klump, what'd you think of it?
From the sound of it, it could have gone either way. It could have been he didn't want to work more than a 1 month deal,
Yeah, he definitely could have signed a short-term contract because he wanted to test it out, and it's very possible he did not accept a longer-term contract if it was offered to him. We don't know those kind of details.
And he might, I'll take it from another perspective. I think it's kind of cool to potentially see somebody become a modern version of the journeyman wrestler, where they can go maybe promotion to promotion. Maybe that's his goal, and maybe he can do that, where he does these short-term deals and kind of goes around and becomes, he's got the notoriety and name. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. I hope we see him definitely pop up a lot more places. I think the only thing I think is a real bummer about it is they didn't do much with him. He popped up and he was the action figure guy's Cody's best friend. They made like a Cody best friend T-shirt for him, and then he was gone. He had like 2 matches with the Dark Order, and that was it. I just feel like there was a better way to utilize him. But I don't know, man.
No, and I think that's fair. Is that either way we look at it, I think the utilization of him was a weak point. Whether or not he signed a short term, whether or not whatever we don't know back in, I think there is a reason to make even short programs better.
Yeah,
and they had the capability of doing it. I mean, Eddie Kingston went out for a match and got his ass a contract.
Yeah, and he had a lot of people talking. The way that they introduced Cardona did not have people talking. Go ahead, Kev.
I was going to say, well, it's just obvious that AEW just wanted to sell more T-shirts. So they brought him in, made a T-shirt, sold them, and kicked him out.
Well, we got our money's worth.
That's more profitable than our asses are.
You don't know that?
I wish we could bring somebody in, sell T-shirts, and then tell them to fuck off.
Actually,
That's kind of what happened with Sam Stackhouse.
Oh.
Remember that? He was our number one fan. Came in, designed a T-shirt for him, sold a few of them, gave him the design. He started selling them, and that's it. We never heard from him since. So, Stackhouse is our Cardona.
Speaking of shirts, we got a sale going on right now.
Yeah, we got a sale right now. 20% off all of our T-shirts. I've implemented this myself purely. This was not on the behest of anyone but our show alone. We got prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingontherocks. If you type in the promo code FALL, FALL, you get 20% off all of our shirts. And you know what? We'll let that code work for the whole rest of the site, too. That's how generous we are.
We'll
Oh,
hook
shit.
you up.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. Well, we call that a buyback.
Yeah.
Our Sam Stackhouse revenge.
Yeah, our Stackhouse revenge. Yeah, Stackhouse will forever be the Matt Cardona of our show. So, guys, AEW Dynamite, what'd you guys think overall? Thumbs up, thumbs down. It was 30 years of Jericho, so there was a whole lot of Jericho talk inside of this episode. What'd you guys think? Let's start with Kev.
I thought it was interesting on how much money AEW spent on cameos.
Yeah, that was a lot of money on cameos.
I mean, WWE's done it too.
I actually wrote down, no one spends as much on cameo as Chris Jericho. I wrote that down. Like, wow.
Supports the small businesses.
Yeah, this was the biggest dig, I think, at WWE that they've done all along. They're like, oh, yeah, they can't have their own cameo? We're going to buy everyone else on cameo. How about that?
It would have been great if WWE did still allow, or there was that open availability, and they did have just a bunch of like
You like Big E on there?
yeah. Greetings, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I know you.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the same thing. After a while, the first couple were like, okay. And then after like the second one, especially when some of them were all like, and I mean, I'll tell you that, I can't remember the name, Steel Panther, I think, where the one guy went, he wrestles? He didn't seem like he was joking. He seemed like he legit did not know that about his friend Chris. It seemed legit to me. And I was like,
Rocking is hard. I like that you bring that up because Eli Roth's voice upsets me at how high it was. I was like,
yes, he sounds like you when you're lying. That's how I know something's up, dude.
You know what? I'm the director. I'm the director of like the most violent horror movies you've ever seen.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, always invite Klump to poker night. You'll win every time.
Yeah. How's your hand, Klump? Good.
Fantastic. Oh, you want to bet more in? Sure.
Yeah. Klump, I think I'm going to go all in. Oh, you shouldn't do that. That's how it's going to end up.
Yours sounds like when on the New Day podcast they're trying to do Young Big E.
That's true. That is Young Biggie. Yeah. That's just lying Klump on our show. Also, all those cameos that they bought, it was a lot of really old men saying, Jericho, you're so cool. And, man, you stayed cool for 30 years, man, and you're still the coolest. And I'm like, this is the oldest people you can possibly get to say you're still cool.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I could see some of them being like actually really, hey, we're going to do this and calling in. But yeah, it did very much feel like a Make-A-Wish kid, getting a message on like late in the process, this isn't going well.
Why you
No.
always got to take it to there, man?
Yeah.
Leave the kids alone. No, it reminded me.
Death
of,
is inevitable.
like,
they're more aware of it, but
Klump,
we give a
stop.
happiness.
Stop. We can only edit so much. No,
Leave those kids alone.
Yeah, leaving the kids
die
alone.
someday. Yeah.
no,
All right.
it reminded me of.
This is
like,
why I need a drink. Go ahead, producer.
It reminded
It's gonna
me
be a
of,
long
like,
October.
Just of a parent telling a kid like, "Man, I don't know why you're getting bullied. You're a cool kid."
Yeah.
Like
No,
that's
you're-
kind of reminded me.
You're the coolest. Was it like Billy Madison? All the cool kids pissed their pants. It also felt a little bit weird, like it came off like super cameo because it almost looked like they were reading the cameo things. Because like I bought a cameo for Lunar that went really well, but there was like moments in there where it's all like, it looks like they said that it's your birthday. That's the impression I got. It's like they're not 30 years. 30 years is a long time to do anything, dude. And I was like, did you just read that off the message box?
I would love it. I would love if more of them were like that, just like that level of like
Yeah.
like indifference, not giving a shit.
There was a
Okay,
few of
what's
them that
this
came
one?
off pretty legit. Like Lance Storm came off really legit. Lance Storm looked like he thought it'd be a fun thing to talk about his friend Chris because they came up together. That seemed cool. But there was a lot of them where it's all like, a lot of your viewers, a lot of specifically your viewers, don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys want to talk about the demo god and the demo and all that stuff, and then you want to have an unpainted Kiss band members not even recognizing that they're from Kiss, not saying Kiss bandmate or anything like that. It just said Gene Simmons on the bottom, Paul Stanley on the bottom. Your viewers, they don't know who Paul Stanley is, guys.
Thank you for telling me, because I didn't either.
See? See, dude? And you're the young one on the show.
I was like, does he?
Case closed.
Who's this Alice Cooper looking motherfucker? And then
Yeah.
I was gonna look it up after.
Exactly, dude. And if we told you it was Kiss, you'd be like, "Oh shit, I know that band." But if I were like, "Hey, here's an old man with no face paint, Paul," you're just gonna fucking piece it together on your own, dude. To me that was the weirdest demo god cameo circle jerk I think they could have possibly put on. It was so weird to me. I was like,
Speaking of old men without face paint, that match.
oh my god.
I'm sorry, I had
match.
to throw something in there.
Oh, I know, but that match, man. Anyway, well, okay, so, I mean, granted, Jericho's been doing this for 30 years. It's a pretty cool thing. I think it's reason to celebrate. You know, if you worked at your same job for 30 years, I'd expect a party for you too, but your parties don't show up on national TV. This is the one thing I thought about it that I'm surprised no one else is talking about at all, was last month, Dustin Rhodes hit 50 years. His 50-year milestone was last month. All they did was put out a T-shirt that he sells on his own site. He wears it on the show, and that's like it. They didn't even fucking mention it, dude. I'm like, you're going to not celebrate Dustin Rhodes hitting 50 years and then put on an entire episode dedicated to Jericho? I'm not saying that they shouldn't both be, but I don't think it should only be one.
Right.
Dustin Rhodes has not wrestled for 50 years. He's wrestled. That would have made him one for his first match.
He put 50. He's got 5 decades on a T-shirt.
Yeah, he's
5
he's,
decades. Not
yeah, he's
50.
50 fucking years old.
That can't be right.
He's 51. He debuted in September 1988.
Yeah, it's the 80s, the 90s, 2000, 2010, and
Oh,
2010.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because I know
That's
that
5 decades. Not
they
50
had that with
years.
with the Royal Rumble that came up too, where it was like, hey, like he's been in 4 decades. Like it sounds more realistically, that just means 22 years.
We're not great
Yeah.
at math here.
Yeah.
Right. Hold on. Is this a contract? Dude, I don't understand contracts. Has he had a 5-decade contract?
Yes.
Where's Coach? Coach, I need you back in the chat. You have to teach me this. So wait, has he only been wrestling 22 years? That can't be right. He hit over
Not
30.
22. Not 22, but I think he debuted in like 88 or 89.
He's been wrestling 32 years. So
32 years. So 2 years ago he hit 30.
Yes. So if you were to wrestle for in 5 decades, the minimum length of your career would be 32 years because you have to have like 1989, for instance, and then like 2020. So you have to have those 2 bookends, and then the 30s and 30 in the middle.
Okay. I gotcha. The bookends. Coach is in the chat. He says decade means 10. All right. It's all coming together. He's a good teacher, that guy.
God damn it.
Our youth isn't looking so bad anymore.
I need a drink, guys.
Yeah, and you're so
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that I understand math better. Coach, I like Coach. Yeah, he spelled it out here. If you wrestled in 2019 and 2020, you've wrestled in 2 decades.
2 decades. Yeah.
All right. All right. Can you imagine he puts on the T-shirt that says 5 decades, and like a dude like Jungle Boy's like, dude, I've got like 2 decades already. Like, I just started.
And he just slaps him in the fucking face. That's my gimmick. Fuck off.
Pah! That whole like slap where he like falls to his knees and then fucking smacks him. That'd be so good. in the back. Sorry, dude. God. I'm just saying math, dude. All right. Either way, they put on a huge show for Jericho. They spent a ton of money on Cameo. They put a whole bunch of old people on the screen with names and no references. And I'm sure the demo just ate it up. They're like, this is good. Some of them, by the end of it, if you notice, they were just cutting it. The guys were like in mid-sentence, and they're just like, next. Like,
Gotta get them all in.
yeah, they're like, we were looking for a soundbite, not actually a message.
I liked at the beginning when they asked, what's your favorite Jericho moment? And everyone just kind of like stares at the screen and,
Yeah.
oh, when he joined the AEW. Oh,
Yes.
when he did, fell into the mimosa.
Yeah. Everything they said was like in the last month, and I was like, really?
Oh yeah, I wanted one person to be like, it was really cool when he got the undisputed, and it just cuts out as he's saying undisputed championship.
Yeah. They all look
That
at it. It's
one
like, wasn't he in the
match
first ever Money in the?
Yeah.
So
It
good.
was cool to see like Hiroshi Tanahashi and like
Yes.
Ultimo Dragon. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I thought some of
that
them were
was-
really cool.
Yeah. Then some of them were that guy from Kiss. I found out.
Yeah,
Wait, was
and,
he
and that's
Kitty
just it.
Cat guy?
Paul Stanley was Spaceman, I thought. Peter Criss was Kitty Cat.
Yeah, Paul Stanley had the star on his eye. I think.
Oh, Ace Frehley had the Spaceman. You're right. Paul Stanley had the 1 star. Ace Frehley had the silver over the eyes. Gene Simmons did the tongue, and the Kitty Cat was Peter Criss. And then there's a 5th member who I don't remember what his face paint was or his name, but somebody was like interchanged out, and I think it was the cat.
And that guy went to become the head of ICP.
Yes, Shaggy Two Dope.
Yeah.
Was Let's see. Coach says in the chat he needs to start an additional faction called Friends of Jericho, and all he does is name drop them.
That would be a great tag team move. Friends of Jericho's a tag team. The name drop.
Yeah, that'd be a great finish.
And then David Arquette jumps out of the crowd. They pick him up and leg drop him because he can kind of bump.
Dude, it is kind of bullshit they didn't use David Arquette for that. For the cameos. He would have done one. He's a former
I thought he
WCW
was-
champion.
I thought he was Serpentico.
That's true. He is Serpentico. So we did have announced before the show, they did say they were going to do a dog collar match between Cody and Brody, an FTW championship match between Will Hobbs and Brian Cage, Big Swole versus Serena Deeb, and the 30 years in the making, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Dr. Luther and Serpico. So that was what was announced to begin with. The show did end up starting off with Brian Cage versus Will Hobbs for the FTW Championship. What do you guys think of this match?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, you had 2 big guys out there. I thought
Yeah.
they kicked off the show pretty well. They both showed how athletic they are. And I had no complaints from it, really. Except for I would have loved if Hobbs would have won and Taz would have thrown a fit.
That would have been funny. Here was the first time, I think, during AEW where the match was really good and the commentary was taking away from the match significantly, where muting the commentary on this one I felt was almost necessary. This match was so good. Cage and Hobbs definitely showed up for this one, and Taz is being a fucking goof over on the commentary table. He's like joking around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think this was the most. I think commentary is pretty consistent with being distracting, honestly.
It doesn't usually. Okay, so their commentary is not the best, and it can be distracting and goofy and silly at times. But so much of what's happening in the ring is also that in this one here were 2 dudes who were in the ring taking it very seriously, which was really cool to see, and Taz trying to make a joke out of all of it. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we finally have a serious match opening him up. And it's for your fucking title, which he's trying to put over left and right. He spent more time trying to put over his title than trying to put over Brian Cage.
Big
And then, yeah, and then now you have a guy who's actually trying to make it look like something because it's not gotten the best start in the company. And you're there making it look like a joke on the side. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, I legit.
That,
Go ahead.
They never let Ricky Skaggs talk. I loved when they called him Ricky Skaggs.
Yeah, that was funny.
But
That's
what?
no, it was funny. He was on commentary and didn't say a word.
Yeah. And it's weird in commentary, announce him, show him and stuff like that. And I think he said all of like 3 words the entire match.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And the ref in this match was so goofy, dude. It was so weird to see. Like, here was the thing is, it was true for the second match as well. The first 2 matches were so good. Cage and Hobbs and FTR against TH2, they both put on great matches and they both really showed up. And all this silly stuff was happening around them. So it was like, there's a good match happening in the ring and you're not letting me just watch and enjoy it. You're being really weird and distracting with it. It was, I don't know, man. It annoyed me.
They're detracting
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
some quality.
Like, if I'm
quality
Cage, I'm
matches.
pissed, I'm out there trying to, like, do something and trying to make this look serious, and you're out here goofing off and being weird about stuff, and the ref's sitting there fucking dancing and trying to get in every shot, and it's like, this isn't about you, ref. This isn't about you, Taz. This is about Brian Cage. Like, if I'm Cage, I'm pissed. But the match was so good.
Can I mention commentary?
Go ahead, producer.
I tweeted this out that I was really hoping that for Serena Deeb and Big Swole that they were going to mention more of Serena Deeb's wrestling accomplishments, and she's been in so long. She's taught like everyone you've seen on TV, and they just continued to say, oh, she's in great shape, and oh, she teaches yoga, and okay, we get that, but can we focus on how great her wrestling is? That was really, really annoying me. And I hope that, they switch it up commentary-wise, that, we don't just need to know that. It's
Yeah.
that's all.
I'm just trying to figure out how to pivot,
Sorry.
because we were definitely talking about a different thing, and that was definitely down the line.
Commentary. Still no.
We were talking about commentary versus the first 2 match. What do you guys want to say about Serena Deeb and Big Swole?
I mean, I agree with producer.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great point. I think one thing that AEW and I will say this: we haven't seen too much of this happen on the WWE side, with AEW specifically, but we've seen it in other circumstances where at times they don't talk about the history of someone in other promotions or in other countries.
Yeah.
You typically hear the phrase, he was an IWGP champion. That's it. But for instance, Damian Priest. Nobody talks about Damian Priest as Punishment Martinez having held the Ring of Honor title.
Well, and you'll hear them say little things like, has held championships around the world. You know what I mean? And so you go, okay, but it's vague.
And I don't see, and I think I don't know why. I could get the argument is that they don't want to like highlight other competition.
Yeah.
But in this case, you can do something that vague. Something that vague does, lend something. Yeah, they train some of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, this person was involved in training of some of your absolute favorite wrestlers. Any wrestler that you've seen in the past, X number of years, probably spent time in the ring learning from Serena Deeb. Let's see what she does tonight. You know what I mean? Like, she was a trainer at Performance Center. I don't think she just trained the women either. But if she did, hey, your favorite women wrestlers from anywhere else in the world, they learned from this one right here. You're going to want to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take much to put her over as being skilled and talented in the ring. But instead, we're talking about how she's in such great shape and she practices yoga. Okay.
And really, if you did build her up like that, you're already like giving her so much credibility and helping out Big Swole. So when Big Swole gets that win, it's, oh, she didn't just beat anyone. She didn't beat a jobber. She beat this person that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as of right now, Big Swole has a win over a yoga instructor. Go ahead, Kev.
But to me, that's AEW's problem since, their first episode is that they never gave backgrounds to anyone. They never, they've never really established, at the beginning who's heel, who's face, and stuff like that. And when you don't have the background, it gets lost. And like this, which was supposed to be a big win, all of a sudden, like, you just said, okay, good, she beat a yoga instructor. Good job.
I don't think that's explicitly an AEW thing, though. Like, I think it's more glaring here in some ways, but it is a WWE problem too at various points. And with some talent, it can be pretty bad. For instance, Matt Bloom. And I think of this just because he's a trainer as well. When Matt Bloom came back from Japan, where he held the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship a few times, and was one of the biggest guys in New Japan, they brought him up as Lord Tensai. They kind of erased it. So I think one thing that happens, unfortunately, is, AEW, I think, is more guilty of they bring somebody in by their name, and when it's by their name, or if they're in an indie, you have the story there, and we maybe know that they're all indies. Whereas in WWE, they do a lot to invent a new character. And I think that more is AEW's weakness, is like, if you're not going to tell me why they're important, tell me what they've, or, make up a reason for it. Whereas WWE doesn't tell you what they've done prior, but they make up a story at least.
Yeah, they try to tell you who this person is and what they're about, and this one is a yoga instructor gone rogue, I suppose. Coach says that they did give
Rogue
Cardona's
instructor.
background, action figure guy. He said, I heard he's got a world-renowned action figure collection. Did you guys hear about that? I'm like, oh, my God.
John Cena fucked his girl.
What?
That was
That's probably
one
true
of
of
the
most people.
One of the
I was
first
gonna say-
storylines that he was in.
That was the storyline?
Yes, John Cena stole his girl.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Who played his girl?
I forget, but it was based.
It wasn't the girl who threw him off of the ramp, right? In the wheelchair?
Yeah, that one.
That's
That was
funny.
Kane, actually.
That was
not
Kane?
him. Yeah.
Oh.
Kane threw him off the ramp, but it was part of that storyline where basically John Cena was helping him out. She fell for John Cena, and he was not like. They even show him off to the side, just like, what the fuck? And they don't acknowledge it after. Like, they just. Yeah, John Cena fucked a girl.
Hey, man, it's believable. Let's see. I do think that's true. And the thing is the match itself was good with Serena and Big Swole. It just was lacking purpose, and it felt a little bit like it felt a little thrown in. It felt like, well, let's put this out there because they keep complaining we haven't had women on the show in a while, so let's put in this filler match. It didn't feel like it meant much, and I just think that's a little bit of a bummer. And without giving a proper background, it feels that way as well. I think we're going to lose Coach here in a second because I just saw a notification come through about another live podcast. So I'm going to go back real quick, though. Let's see. FTR and TH2, I put it had a really solid match. Even though, who was it? Jack Evans. He kept, missing stuff, and Angelico kept going for stuff and, coming up way short, and then they would still sell it. It was weird. And he put him in that double submission where he kind of just sort of had them both in a poor headlock, so much so that, who was it? Cash just, fell out of it. But stayed there for a second because he didn't know what to do because he wasn't supposed to just fall out of the move.
That kick.
The kick for
weird.
one.
Yeah.
But then that headlock thing, the double submission. All of a sudden, if you look, Cash's head isn't being squeezed at all, and his head rolls back. And so then he just kind of tucks his head into Angelico's armpit for a second. Because he's like, well, where the fuck am I supposed to go? I'm supposed to be in this move for a second. But apart from little slips like that, the match was really good overall. I really liked it, but I thought, again, there was silliness going on the commentary. There was goofiness happening outside the ring. The ref couldn't keep track of who was legal, and that made me laugh.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all. The only thing that gets me is, and it's a minor thing, but it's stupid, but Angelico, I like him. I think he's got talent. But he reminds me of JP from Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
And
I can
he
see
needs
that.
to change. He needs to change his. Yeah. I'm a robot. Look,
I'm a robot.
he needs to change his look just a little bit, just to get me off of that. Because every time I see him, I'm like, it's JP, and
Yeah.
it kind of throws me off from the match from the beginning.
But imagine if he did the robot middle finger taunt.
All right.
That'd be so good. Coach does say that was a Mexican lucha double headlock, which that makes sense actually. And somehow ended up in an
Oh,
armpit.
fuck, he
noogie.
does.
Yeah, he looks just like him, dude.
God damn, yeah.
Like every
But
time I see him,
overall,
I
the match was really
all
good.
I-
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I thought the match was really good. I thought, what a great way to start this show with these two matches. But why can't they take this stuff a little bit more seriously on commentary? It's gotten to the point where I don't think anybody on commentary thinks this is anything more than just kind of a joke. I get the impression that they've tried so hard to say, hey, guys, this doesn't work or this works or I need to be able to know this to be able to do this for you. And I think they get a whole lot of, we'll figure it out, dude. Don't take it so seriously. I feel like there's so much don't take it so seriously happening that now the commentary table, no matter who's on it, sounds like they don't give a fuck. It sounds just like, oh, I guess we're just here to goof off. So let's all fucking make fun. Taz was making fun of Shivani for a while. I don't even think Shivani was at the table at the time.
I mean,
The only thing that's getting me with the AEW commentary is right now they're a step away from me watching an Arizona game that Bill Walton's commentating. And I just watch it on mute because I can't stand him.
Yeah.
And the AEW commentary is almost getting to that point where it's like, all right, just put it on mute, watch the match, and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, though, when there's a lot of like weird comedy stuff happening that they do a lot of, all the parody wrestling stuff they do, I do think the commentary kind of brings stuff to it because they're doing the same thing. But this feels so much like a parody show, so much so that they show the Young Bucks looking at a monitor over their shoulder watching the match because they're trying to make a joke about WWE and people standing sideways and looking to the side. And I get why WWE does that, and yeah, it's silly, but you doing the look over your shoulder, you're literally trying to be a parody of the WWE. You're no longer making fun of what WWE is doing. You're just a parody of wrestling at that point. What?
Klump, is that your cat?
no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Shut up, Zelda.
Sorry, anyways. Cat threw me off. But yeah, I hated that Young Bucks were like looking over their shoulder, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, this is stupid. At least when WWE does it, they're trying to make it look like they're looking at the screen through the camera. But, at that point, once again, it's like, all right, guys, you're not the alternative anymore. Like, you're trying to go
parody
to
now.
Yeah, and
And it's one thing to watch a show take itself seriously, like when WWE does it and people are standing that way and they're taking themselves seriously and you laugh because they're taking it seriously and it looks kind of silly. It's another thing when you just present yourself as we don't take any of this seriously. You're like, oh, then I won't be invested. But, oh, yeah, look at it's in the chat right now. Coach says, what was up with the Young Bucks super kicking the cameraman backstage? That was odd. Are they heels and also FTR are heels? It was too much being the elite for me. He goes, I can't take AEW seriously because of stuff like that. And 15 says they don't want to be inclusive and they seem to only want their fanboy audience. And that's just it. I don't know that they're trying to get more viewers. I think they just want to cater to who they have. But I think that they're trying to get the let's point and laugh at wrestling viewer. But I also watch wrestling because I like to be emotionally involved and be excited when someone wins. If I know we're all just pointing and laughing the whole time, then it doesn't matter who wins. I'll just go, okay, fine match.
Which is kind of interesting when you think about the people they have there that do care so much, like Dustin and FTR. Like, you definitely have people who aren't making a mockery of it, but it's interesting to see that mesh of people.
Yeah. And maybe it's just the Young Bucks. Maybe the Young Bucks are such a parody of wrestling. And maybe that's part of their gimmick. I mean, and I like Coach says, there are supposed to be heels so far as I can tell, so I'm not supposed to like them. I just haven't liked them even from when they weren't, But I don't understand this whole like assaulting the people that work for them. They're making their snide jokes about it. Like the cameraman gets kicked, but still able to point the camera at them, keep them in their shot. Like,
and then I think it was like Siobhan was like, "Oh, they need to fine them or suspend them, this and that." I'm like, they're one of the bosses. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they can do whatever the hell they want, but they're
You
not
need-
playing it as that. They're just like, "Oh, here's another $10,000 fine. No, I forgot my wallet. Can you grab it? Oh, I forgot to. We'll get them next time." And walk off, and it was like,
It would be funny if they.
It doesn't make Tony look good. Because when they walked by Tony in one of their segments, they did that and just threw money at Tony and kept walking. He just sat there like, okay. Like, that's how you fucking run your company? You know what I mean? Like, it was weird. Or you can say, Klump?
It would be cool if they had like a workplace, like a hostile workplace angle.
Yeah.
But I've said this before and again, and I do like the Elite. I like the Young Bucks. I feel like this is maybe the most frustrating thing that AEW is putting on right now because it makes zero sense to me. Yes, the Young Bucks are typically a heel team, and their antics are heelish, and they've somehow gotten over by being kind of, I would say, like juvenile schoolboy heels. That's fine. That's cool.
Okay.
They've been in this weird face roll since they've been here. And it's not been bad. In a sense, it's kind of made sense because there's such a, kind of juvenile, innocent, I would say, pair. However, and what's frustrating is as Hangman and Kenny are becoming heels, and Cody's kind of right in the middle, and they have valid reasons too, where it makes sense that they're just becoming heels for no reason. I'm not saying it's a bad move. We just need some context to it. And
That's
they
true.
continually don't, because even in like being the Elite, it's become more and more focused on silly sketches and stuff like that. That's okay. That's what it always has been. But I need you guys to do more exposition for the world of wrestling, that rather than have me watch a YouTube show where I'm watching you guys be you guys.
Yeah, they were back
Your
down to
silly
750,000 on their ratings, and I know we don't get into ratings because we don't understand all that stuff. But when you look at the numbers of it, just in whole, they get these moments of spiked viewership, and they're not able to keep them. And I think it's because of stuff like this. I really do. You know what I mean?
well, and going to them turning heel as well, it just doesn't make sense that all of them are turning heel at once.
Yeah.
If they were
yeah.
a faction, fine, do it. But when they're all individuals and they're all doing it, it's like, I feel like they're in a board meeting and, what should we do? Why don't we turn heel? Okay. And then all of them go and do it.
Well, and I think they've created the idea of them being aligned as the Elite, and that's okay. But then they've done a lot to kind of separate them as individual characters that will come out and support each other, but they're not like in New Japan where they would come out to each other's matches for every match, and they'd fuck around the ring at every match. And that made sense for what they did there, because they also did it with an air of kind of, it was silly and hokey, but it made sense as heels.
Yeah, and Coach brings up a good point. How are we supposed to care about the Bucks versus FTR if they're both heels? And that kind of goes into what I was saying when they first brought over FTR and said if they had any Bucks about them, that they would really lean into FTR's desire and need for rules and establishment stuff, and really lean into the Young Bucks saying, hey, around here, and babyface and the whole thing, we're not trying to enforce that kind of a thing. And now you just have two people who just don't. I mean, the Young Bucks just don't care about anything, and then FTR is heels because they follow rules, but Young Bucks. I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to care about these two teams clashing anymore, other than it's quote a dream match to some. But without a build, it's not a dream match. Like, I think dream match gets thrown around so much without build. Like, to me, I don't have dream matches without the dream of a storyline to get me there. You know what I mean? Like Daniel Bryan versus Kofi was a dream match, but only because Kofi Mania was the story that it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And I think it was a dream match, like, It wasn't it wasn't to me a dream match in the sense of like, I can't wait for this, like, with no build. The build made it that. And I think there are very few dream matches that are self-evident. You know, we could argue the Elite versus the New Day for some people would be, or we could argue, but you need some kind of backup to that to make it. I think, and I'll say this as well with what's happening here. Yeah, I think the Revival or FTR came in as heels, you know, because they were outsiders and stuff. But really, at the caliber they perform and they make sense, they're not really heels. They're faces, and that's not bad.
Yeah.
But the Young Bucks, it would have been a neat double turn if it was a real fucking double turn, and it wasn't. It was just like, suddenly we're gonna be childish, because I always get stuck on, you know, you have one tag team who lost the titles to this group who arguably convinced one of the members that he doesn't have to be a part of the Elite, or why is he part of the Elite? You know, that's, I think, the biggest heel move that FTR has. That's composed of two people who were in many ways considered, one, the future of wrestling, one, the greatest wrestler in the world, and neither of them held a title in this new promotion that they helped found.
Yeah.
And so they're frustrated, and they're going to end up going at each other. And that's a great feud. That's a great reason to be heels, and that's a great reason or great way to make one of them a face again.
Yeah.
And then you have these two who are their friends who, I don't know, are just upset and have money because it doesn't even seem that they're upset because they don't have belts. It just seems like they're
It was just random.
Yeah, and that maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think I am, and I feel like we need more here. You know?
Yeah. I don't understand how we got here. What did you guys think of the dog collar match?
I liked it. I thought for what it was, you know, gimmick matches can be kind of weird, but I think, you know, it was a great fucking match. And I think, I think Cody, you know, he did a lot of little tongue-in-cheek throws to his dad and his brother, and it was cool. And I think Brody Lee looked fantastic.
Brody looked kind of badass. Kev, what did you think of this match?
I liked it. You know, it was pretty cool. It was everything you would expect out of a dog collar match. Once again, you know, just harping on the commentary. I didn't like at the beginning when, what was his name, Seven was on the ring apron.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he needs to get out of there. You know, somebody needs to get him out of there. And then Cody hits him, and there, he took care of it himself. And it was like, cool. You know,
but then like Cody hit him by accident. Yeah, dude. So, for just to throw it out there, I do think this might be the worst dog collar match I've ever seen. But I do recognize it as a pretty decent match that these guys put on. I do think it took way too long to get to the match, in that the beginning of the match was all about this random Dark Order guy on the outside of the ring. He was standing on the apron. Everyone's watching and talking about this guy on the apron. No one's on the apron. The ref doesn't give a shit that he's on the apron. And the guy's got no business being up there in the corner like he's waiting to be tagged. Then Cody misses on accident but hits him. And then they go outside the ring so they can set him up for another bump. And then he takes a random bump on the outside.
Well, yeah, after Brody tells him, hey, sit here, stay out of the way. And then Cody flies in and kicks him.
Yeah.
Or hit him. I don't know what happened.
I was like, why is so much happening with these people who are not in the match?
Yeah.
Coach brings up a good point. It actually made sense for Cody to bleed this time, and the Bucks should make fun of that. Yeah, Cody's head's made of thin paper. I've said that before. He will bleed for no reason. I can't wait for them to do a first blood match, because everyone will be like, don't do it! Don't do it!
That would be that would be a silly but fucking great stipulation if maybe that's the blow off of another great feud. You named the stipulation, first blood match. Fuck.
Yeah. No, come on, dude. Not with me.
Anything else, please.
Yeah. Come on. So I thought that was goofy. I didn't like Anna Jay and Brandy being out there at all. I'm glad they sent them into the back after a little bit. I don't know why you would introduce the Doctor in the beginning. I was like, what?
Yeah, it was the Matt Hardy thing. As soon as they introduced him, I started laughing. I was like, oh, that's because of Matt Hardy. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we realize this is dangerous. This is why we have a doctor here. You know?
Yeah. This-
Yeah,
We
it just
really
made
do
me
have a
laugh.
doctor.
Yeah. They had the AEW branded table, which I liked. Thought that was funny. I was like, that one's for the action figures. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the Doctor thing would be, it would make, I wouldn't be opposed to it if they did it at the beginning of the show. Like, actually did say, this is our medical personnel. Like, at some point, do that, like, at the beginning of some shows. However, to do it at the beginning of this match, after what happened, it doesn't, it feels, shit, not even silly, kind of, like, cruel, you know?
yeah, feels kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Coach does say it would be great if Cody won a first blood match because we never see it coming. And that's actually true. If there was a first blood match with Cody versus anybody, you're just like, oh, well, Cody has to lose this. He bleeds every time. Then when he wins, everyone's like, oh, my God.
He won a first blood match against the Red Cross fucking typo
Against, like,
match.
Jimmy Havoc or some shit. And you're just like, whoa. That guy's
Ain't gonna
gimmick
have
is
one against Jimmy
bleeding.
Havoc soon.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Let's see. I didn't like Arn Anderson being involved at all, and then he had a hard time even standing up. I thought there was way too much pretending you're using the chain and not using it. They kept utilizing the chain in such a way that the other person had to still move and do stuff regardless of what the chain was doing. It was just poor use of the chain. And I even, you can even hear my commentary at one point. They're all like, well, they don't teach you how to use a chain in wrestling school. And then at one point, they're on the corner post, and Cody throws the chain behind the post and then pulls on the chain, which doesn't do anything because it's wrapped around Brody, and he just stands there. So he's just being pulled back a little bit but not moving. And so then Cody walks back in, and then Brody just, like, falls like something happened. But you're, like, feet away from anything. And then Cody can't get the chain back over. And you're like, all of that for a non-spot? Like, that was like, it felt like minutes of time just being like, do something!
That should have been on the picture-in-picture.
Yeah, that should have been picture-in-picture stuff. So that way you're looking at
Yeah.
it all small, like, is he fucking, is
Yeah.
he just using
What
the
is he
chain
doing?
for nothing?
Yeah, he's messing
Chase-
him up.
Yeah. He's getting them. So those things, those reasons are why that I thought overall as a dog collar match, this is not one to be remembered. But as far as like the first time they're doing a dog collar match in AEW, the match was fine. Your competitors were fine. I don't think this hurt Brody Lee. People are talking about how this buried him. I do think that Cody winning and taking the belt off Brody has the potential to burn a lot of steam off of Brody Lee. I think that's very possible, but I would not say this has buried him and Brody Lee's worthless now. You know what I mean?
Well, the only thing that got me with Cody winning is just made it evident that Cody got hurt, so Brody won it until Cody got back.
Or he filmed that stupid TV show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Cody's all like, I got to go do a film. I got to go a little TV show with Snoop Dogg. Let's just put the title on Brody for a bit, and I'll just take it back from him when I come back. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I said in one of the chats I'm in that I'm really enjoying Triple Cody. They did not like that.
I still can't stand that belt.
Yeah, the belt has not grown on me any. I'm not a fan of it. But, you know.
Kevlar, I said it looks like one of your children designed a belt. Like, oh, it's great for your kids
Hey.
to make it, but
Do not
Yeah,
do not insult my children like that, please.
this is crazy. She's like trying to have like a Miz angle right now.
No, it's great for kids, but throwing it on TV,
No, I agree. That belt is horrendous.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of it.
Yeah, it needs to go.
But realistically, I don't have a problem with Cody carrying that title. I do think it was really weird. They made such a fucking stink about how he's like different now and he's evil and he's just
And then
cut
his
two
post-match
emo promos. What?
And then his post-match speech. For
Yeah,
everyone,
and then the
you
post-match
think I'm
thing-
burning. I'm not. Yeah. It's me. It's still me.
And
I
I'm
changed
back
my
to
hair.
babyface,
Still me.
baby.
Yeah. That had me laughing so hard. I was like, that's so confusing right now.
Yeah, I was like, you guys went way out of the way. You put on those black and white T-shirts, and you put out the red bloody logo, like, "Oh, I'm evil now." You added that whole Triple H style intro before your intro, so now you've got like 2 types of music just to bring you out under that ambiance of evil. You got everyone around you wearing black and gray, and then he's all like, "I'm back to baby." Coach calls
Might
it
as well have
the.
said that.
Yeah, he's coach is like it's the I'm leaving to film TV title.
Yeah. It's TNT. That's why they call it the TNT title.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
TNT break. I need to go film for TNT. I'll be right back, and when I come
Ooh.
back, I'll win the belt on TNT.
You
What do you
win,
think-
and an
what show do you
executive
think-
comes up. Good.
What show do you think Brody Lee's going to end up on for a month?
No, they make another procedural 1 hour long drama with you. That's what happens.
It's going to be called the Little Show. Probably. If I had to
But
venture a guess.
Speaking of that, real quick, is they always build Brody as this big dude and this big monster.
Yeah.
But when he was on the outside in the match, and this is the first time I've noticed it, is Billy Gunn's like just as big as him.
Oh. Billy Gunn, I think,
Billy
is bigger.
Gunn's fucking huge, though.
Billy Gunn's a big dude.
No, he is. But what I'm saying is they never built Billy like that.
That's true.
Because that.
That's
yeah,
true.
there's a lot of things about Billy that they never did that with Billy. Yeah, he got fucked over and over and over again.
Yeah, Billy Gunn is an interesting story, just if you were to like follow his career. It's kind of wild because some of it you're like, oh, of course he'll be a star. He's this and that. They gave him a little bit of a singles run, and they're like, this dude's incredible shape, one of the best wrestlers we have. And there's like, I don't know, let's put him in like a same-sex marriage angle or something.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
We'll put him in like the best tag team, like one of the best tag teams ever, most integral of the Attitude Era, and then he'll win King of the Ring, and then you know what? Let's have the real face of our company go out there and shit all over him for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Also, if your name is the Ass Man, I don't know how much they can be like, yeah, but he's a big dude. This guy's big. Like, I don't know how much you're. Yeah. Let's see. Coach even says they tried to build Billy that way when he was the one. He's basically Hogan size. Yeah, he's like the size of Hogan. He's huge.
No, I didn't realize, like I said, first time I saw that, I was like, holy shit, like, Billy Gunn's huge. But at the same time, it just made me think that Billy was fucking athletic.
Yeah.
Brody doesn't move like that.
That's well.
Seeing the way Billy would move, and I was like, but anyways, going back to the TNT tab real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think they put it on Cody to come back on the first anniversary show with the finished title?
It's finished, dude.
I thought it was still not finished.
No, it's finished. They added that little bit of gold to it. It's done.
Oh. Never mind then.
That's it, man. That's it in all its glory. They did the whole thing, and Brody cut up the other one, and yeah.
Can I say there's
Go ahead, Klump.
not been a more annoying angle to me in AEW than this title isn't finished yet, like that we're still working on it. That just
So good.
well, fucking wait. We can wait.
And
Get
your
it done.
new incomplete title champion. That'd be good.
And that makes
Ninja
TNT
Ferret
look
coming
bad.
through. Howdy, Ninja Ferret. Cheers. What are you
cheers.
drinking? Go ahead, Clev. What were you saying?
I was just saying, it makes TNT look bad. Since it's a title named after TNT, and like Klump said, it's incomplete. It's, not finished, this and that. Why would TNT, put out an unfinished item?
Because they know drama.
It's true. And then even the unveiling of it, it was like they did a photo shoot with Mike Tyson, and then they have pictures of Tyson ringside yawning, holding the title. And there's someone at TNT who's got to be watching some of this stuff. It's like, it's not. Like, this is not what I thought we were going to have with this title. Oh, shoot, Ninja Ferret having tequila. Cheers, man.
Nice. Kind.
Let's see. So, was there anything else about anything before the main event you guys wanted to get out?
No, I don't
Nah.
think so.
Let's jump in.
Okay. I think we can hit this main event and get out. Did either of you guys get the chance to finish and watch the main event?
I did not.
No?
I saw those cameos.
You saw the cameos? Dude, this match. So even during the match, they showed nothing before it other than some more cameos. And then it starts off with, I believe, Jericho and Serpico in the ring. And at one point, finally, Serpico tags Luther. And they, like, slowly kind of pan in. And they show Luther and Jericho kind of looking at each other. And Excalibur goes, ho, 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 ho! The moment that's 30 years in the making. And everyone, even in the chat, was like, what are they talking about? What 30? You guys didn't tell us this was 30 years waiting for this moment. And they're like, they're finally going. I was like, what do you? You've done nothing to excite me about this. I don't know what's happening. So it was just really weird that they like waited till the moment they were both in the ring in a match to then try to hype up the match that they had booked a week ago. Why don't you put together a video package or something, you know?
Like, give us a reason to like this. I'm not saying I won't like it, but give me a fucking reason.
Yeah, this could be really exciting. I don't know what the exciting part is. Fill me in. I feel like when the first time I sat down and watched 90 Day Fiancé with my grandpa, and I watched a thing happen, I'm like, huh? My grandpa's like, here's what you got to know about what's going on here. And he tells me about the last, like, year worth of 90 Day Fiancé, and he goes, and that's how we got here. And I was like, oh, shit. This is absolutely compelling. You know what I mean?
Why does your grandpa like 90 Day Fiancé?
I don't know, dude. He loves it.
Why were you watching?
Because my grandpa's all like, oh, 90 Day Fiancé's on. We got to put this on. And I was like, yes. Yes, we do. Because, yeah, and I'll tell them right now, because the only other thing I've ever seen my grandpa watch is war documentaries. He knows everything about every weapon that's been in any war. I came out to get like a drink of water one night, and he's just out there. It's like midnight, and he's watching this thing, and I was like, what? And I just sit down with him, and he starts telling me, he's like, what they won't tell you about this. And I was like, what? And he starts telling me about like how this device was used as a kamikaze tool in some crazy way. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, but they don't like to talk about that. But that's what was happening out there. And I was like, what?
Plus, he was in the military, so you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's not get too dark. So it's either that or 90
Yeah.
Day Fiancé.
So then when I sit there and see him watching 90 Day Fiancé, I'm all like, Grandpa, tell me about 90 Day Fiancé.
I'm learning about the greatest weapon there is. Love.
Yeah. But I just need a grandpa sitting next to me going, here's what you need to know about Luther and Jericho. And that's the job of the commentary table or their video packages to tell me in 30 seconds or less why I need to give a shit.
Was this the one where the commentary mentioned Backyard Wrestler?
No, that was with FTR earlier in the hot dog weenie thing. What do you guys think of those hot dog t-shirts they made for FTR?
It's AEW being a clothing shop.
I like hot dogs and I like t-shirts. I'm cool with it.
All right, that makes sense.
We said from the beginning, it's a t-shirt company with a little bit of wrestling.
Yeah. I do think it's funny that they did this whole thing with calling FTR weenies, and they make these t-shirts where they're dressed up in hot dog costumes. And the whole crux of why they came over was because the WWE was not going to use them right and make them dress up and wear silly shit. And you're all like, okay, so you're wearing silly shit here now? Like, I'm not saying it's not kind of funny or that it's not entertaining to anybody, but I am saying, like, you guys see both sides, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you guys at least see the irony or no? Because I even saw Dax even tweet it out because they tweeted out about the shirts, and then he retweeted the shirt and said this was better, and then posted that picture that was floating around with FTR. And I just wanted to see what the comments were on that, and everyone's all like, no, dude, fuck Vince, all that stuff, you know? Oh, no, the hot dogs is so much good. This is so funny. And you're just like, okay, you can't even understand the irony of this. But there may be a joke to be had there. So this match in and of itself.
Maybe.
I hope Otis eats a hot dog on Friday.
What?
Said I hope they show Otis eating a hot dog on Friday.
Oh, that'd be good. He's got 2 hot dogs on a plate, and he just grabs them both and takes a bite real quick.
Or he just throws them in the trash and be like, I don't want that crap.
Yeah. Ugh.
I want real meat.
Yeah. He's just looking at a plate with 2 hot dogs. He throws it in the trash, and Tucker's all like, "What's wrong with that?" He goes, "Not worth my time," and then just like moves on. He's like, "Whoa."
We know it won't happen because they're not gonna bring Tucker in.
That's a good point. Yeah. Klump
It's
it.
Vandy. They can bring Vandy.
Yeah, we got a draft.
Surprise.
See what happens.
Yeah.
So, the match in and of itself was really bad. It seemed really like Jericho was trying to get his friend a payday. This match reminded me. Do you guys remember Rugrats?
Yes, of course. I love that.
Do you remember the episode where Grandpa was in a wrestling match?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Why
it felt
do
a
we
lot like
remember
that.
this?
Because it was a good show, man. It was a good show, and that was a good episode. And that's what this was. I even tweeted out a picture of the old men wrestling on tweet, and I just went, tremendous main event. Like,
So this was a good show?
I mean, the main event spoke for itself. So this match was just bad. It looked awful in every way. And then you have MJF come out and give Jericho a present, and it's basically a Jericho segment being acted out by MJF, and it's a picture of MJF, and he brings out this clown who's just standing there, which made no sense, and then Jericho hits the picture over the clown's head, but nothing really breaks because it was like stapled in. And then Jericho turns around and gives the meanest Judas effect I've ever seen him give anybody. He looked like he really broke that guy's face. I was like, Jesus. It's like, I wonder if that guy was supposed to go down with the picture and he just stood there, and Jericho went, no, never mind. I'll just bring you down.
I'll make this work.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was yeah.
And then that happens. They both say a couple stupid jokes, and then they do a Saturday Night Live ending where everyone comes out from the back, they fill up the ring, they're waving, they're playing music, and they're rolling credits, and they all say Chris Jericho as he did everything. I hate you, Kev. I hate you so
They
bad.
actually did. They did the Saturday Night Live ending.
Yeah.
They're like giving shout outs to their friends and
Yeah.
Yeah, during a pandemic, you really want to bring everyone as close together as possible. No, that's not what you do.
I did not like the giant joke of it all. It was crazy to me too, because to me, this was such a serious show where everyone around the serious stuff was making jokes, and it just fizzled into nothing but everyone poking fun and pointing and laughing. And I was like, well, I don't know. What do you think, Klump? What do you guys say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised they had the big, like, close, bring everyone together thing, because they did that unnecessary fucking stupid brawl last week where it was like, oh, cool, wait, we really don't need to clear the locker room out. God damn it,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Look,
And then
let's go on, that's
Brandy's-
a great idea. No, it's not.
And then Brandy takes out literally everyone because she's the toughest person back there, and I go, okay. Yeah.
So
I didn't like this segment at all, man.
Yeah, just as a don't know anyone in the ring, like if I was just to flip this on not knowing anything, I thought it was just dumb. I think I turned to Marsh and I just said, "This is silly. This is too dumb. I can't."
You got to watch it as a parody show. I mean, the fact that it ended like Saturday Night Live, I think is all you need to know about AEW.
We want to thank Luther and Slash and everyone for coming out. Oh, special performance. It was awesome seeing Steel Panther. God bless. Great sketch. Thank you, Lauren.
That's the thing, though. Not all parodies are great. Like, it actually takes a lot to make a really great parody funny.
Yeah, but they think that they are a sketch comedy show. They don't think that they're a wrestling show, and I think that's all you need to know. I think they made that very clear this week. And I think it made it really clear, even at the even against what a lot of the guys were putting out there. It was crazy to me to see so much effort put in by the wrestlers the first several matches and so little care given in and around the ring outside of it. You know what I mean? It was just wild to me, man. I was like, I don't think it takes that much.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me wonder what it's like backstage. If these people who have been doing it the longest seem to carry the least at this point, well, what's going on? You know?
It would have made up for it if at any point somebody called it the Jericho Show.
Ooh, Jericho. That'd
Yeah.
been funny, actually. Well,
And
guys, overall, I did think the show wasn't horrible. I think that it was decent. I was entertained at times. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't seem to make sense. And when it ended like Saturday Night Live, I was like, oh, I get the joke now. We've been laughing at it the whole time. So overall, I would say it was entertaining, but it is 100% different than anything you're going to get on NXT. And so I do think it's interesting that people were still comparing NXT and AEW in a lot of regards, when I think that they couldn't be further from each other in almost everything they do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying they are very much different. Because one thing I'll say that AEW is doing in some regards that I feel like is the one thing NXT is missing is NXT is doing a great job of building a singular match, but they're not doing a great job of telling a whole story getting there, like making you emotionally invested. They just get you amped and hyped for the match. Where I feel like AEW is taking a lot more time to try and tell stories. I feel like in NXT they're hot-shotting matches and saying this is why you should be excited for this match because these two people are going to put on a great match, but not why you should super care. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that, yeah.
What did you guys think of Takeover and the fallout on NXT?
I like Takeover a lot. I thought, as an event, it was one of my favorite of the year. It was a fantastic, and it could be attributed to really one fucking match, you know, because the main event was maybe the best wrestling match I've seen this year.
Oh yeah, that's hard to argue. Kevlar, what did you think overall between Takeover and the fallout?
I thought Takeover was great. You know, like I was, you know, pretty entertained from top to bottom of, you know, the entire card. And one of the biggest things I liked is that they're bringing back Halloween Havoc. Something like that.
Hell yeah.
But, you know, I'm excited for that. You know, they said it's the first time in like 20-some years. I text you and I was like, you know, oh shit, you know, they're bringing back Halloween Havoc. Thanks, AEW. Because AEW is pushing NXT and NXT is just, you know, doing their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're digging in.
I agree with that. I think that it's, and to a broader audience than they've ever had before, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that you made that point earlier about them, or producer, about them not being inclusive, or we heard in chat, sorry, about them not being inclusive with regard to talent or their fan base bringing people in. NXT's really tried to be as broad as possible, I feel, to have the biggest fan base.
Yeah. I do feel like they're trying to reach out to more. So overall, favorite match was Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly. Now that was one where it's like I said, it was on paper kind of a dream match, and they did a really good job of telling you a story on why these two will put on a great match, and it made you excited for the match, but I didn't feel overall emotionally invested in the match. You know what I mean? And it was a fantastic match. Like you said, candidate for match of the year, I wouldn't even argue that at all. But this wasn't one where I'm like jumping out of my seat and crying if somebody's losing and I want them to win. You know what I mean? But it was an amazing match. I also felt like that this match itself, I think people should pay attention to, especially a lot of wrestling fans always talk about, oh, that match told a good story. Did it? Or did it have enough of the right moves for you? You know what I mean? This is one that told a story. It showed Finn out wrestling Kyle O'Reilly. It showed Kyle O'Reilly starting to get the better of Finn Balor. It shows O'Reilly take a liver shot, and then the match's dynamic change out from that moment on. And now you have Kyle fighting from underneath the whole time, trying to get one over, getting a few spots of hopes and stuff like that. Ultimately, it becomes this brutal fight where it really seems and feels like Kyle O'Reilly is not quite fighting for his life, but fighting for everything he's got. And Balor, being at just a slightly different, being at such being on a completely different level, and by the end of it, you realize that they're on very similar levels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was the progression of this fight within there, and everything made sense on how we got there. I don't know. I thought it was awesome, and I think like a lot of times people go, "It told a good story," and you're like, "No, it didn't tell any story inside the ring." And I think that maybe that's what I was trying to say is that NXT has such a great way of telling a good story in the ring through the fight, a sensical fight. And sometimes it's not doing the best job to get you excited before that. But once they got you there, you're in.
Yeah, I feel like maybe a good way of phrasing it is they get you invested in stories that have a first match. They don't get you invested in matches that have a story in advance of it.
Yeah.
See, going to that is when they had the number one contender match, I thought Kyle O'Reilly was, not, I thought it was like, all right, he's not winning, out of these guys, who might win? And when he won, I was excited about that. I think where NXT messed up is they should have immediately started building and just feeding into it why it was important that Kyle O'Reilly, had this opportunity.
Yeah, I think they did a decent job with some of the packages and stuff like that. Like, I was excited for the match, but just because you're like, oh, it's going to be a good match because we have two really good wrestlers going to be in a match together.
But yeah, but what I'm saying is I think they should have had the number one contender match like a couple weeks before.
Yeah, and drag it out a little bit more so they can get you a little bit more emotionally invested.
Exactly. Then you show the packages, then you show the promos, and just like, hey, this is this, and even have them going back and forth, maybe on Twitter or, on the shows and stuff like that, just to be like, all right, cool, like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I was just going to say, outside of, Finn's going to put on a good match, and Kyle O'Reilly, I think one of the more underrated guys out there right now. And, we were excited to see him in a main event spot.
Dude, and how badass did Balor look winning that match with a broken jaw?
Shit.
Yeah.
I was telling Kev offline that I felt like this broken jaw and the x-ray that Balor put out and seeing it kind of play out the way it did in the ring, I feel like it makes Drew McIntyre look pretty bad. Like, you guys just played up this whole fractured jaw business with Drew. And now in hindsight, I mean, I was saying it at the time, but in hindsight more so, Drew looks kind of goofy and silly for clearly making up an injury that you can see what happens when you actually have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Also,
yeah, we talked. Yeah. Like, I never liked the angle with the whole jaw thing because, you see it in fights and stuff like that. When somebody breaks their jaw, you can see it in a fight and be like, all right, they probably have a broken jaw, and somebody taps it, and they just, crumple up.
Yeah.
And Drew was just like, oh, this hurts. It was dumb.
Yeah.
But, and as soon as I saw O'Reilly, with the knee, I was like, oh shit, I think that, connected. Because you saw Finn just grab his jaw immediately. And then later in the match, when you saw that thick blood come out, I was like, oh, his jaw's broken, I bet. And, it just made him look badass.
Yeah, as soon as he grabbed his face, I was like, "Oh, that looked rough. He got it good." And then there's like a thick, dark red in his mouth. It's not just normal, a little bit of bleeding. And I was like, "That dude just lost a wisdom tooth. Like, that is bad." Yeah. And then you could just see it in his eyes and everything. And they wrapped up the match as fast as they could right then and there, which I think was smart. But you could even see it, even when he's like does the coup de grace and then goes for the pin. You can even see it on his face. He's just like opening his jaw, just trying to get relief at some point. Like, it was insane, and he looked like a total fucking badass in the middle of all that. And I think Drew looks goofy. What were you about to say, Kev?
I was just gonna say, he was trying to find a position to hold his mouth to, have the least amount of pain possible.
Yeah.
Basically to set it, because when you looking at how he broke it, you want to kind of the bones are kind of shifting into ways they don't want to. So just some kind of way to not put pressure on it, which fuck, that's bad.
Yeah.
It's gnarly. And earlier in the match, Kyle got some blood in his mouth. And I remember thinking that looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the match came off as a brutal fucking fight.
Yeah.
And these dudes walked away with actual injuries. And then, Balor tweets out the picture of his jaw X-ray and just puts out there, broken jaw, still champion. And I was like, oh. And then this week, he cuts that promo and he's all like, people want to know if this run was going to be as good as the last one. He goes, well, I think you just got your answer. And you're just like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
He even sounds like more of a badass than Drew does when he's all like, I'm just trying to think about what kind of champion I want to be. And with this broken jaw, I think I want to have a match. What?
I want to have an open
That's a-
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You vicious monster.
Yeah. And then when you look at the card in and of itself, I mean, Damian Priest and Gargano was not a bad match. Kushida and Velveteen Dream was better than I thought it was going to be. Santos and Swerve, I thought did a stellar job.
It was
The
the only surprise on the card, I think, was Kushida and Velveteen Dream. I had this worry that Velveteen Dream was going to win.
Yeah.
That they've been because in trying to pull him off the radar, calm things down, they might let him win. I was happy that Kushida's character is maintaining as this fucking monster.
I think they're going somewhere with Kushida.
But everything else, every other match kind of went as expected on the card to me. But they were all such good matches that when I watched them, I was like, yeah, but that's okay. I'm okay with this having not being surprised at the end because it was a solid ass match.
Yeah. I think the only part of this show that I really didn't like was the stuff with Johnny Gargano and the EO match. I didn't like any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It at first I thought, okay, cool, Johnny's gonna help Candice win, and it makes sense, make them ultimate heels and stuff like that. But then for them not to do it, or for Candice not to win, I was like, well, now you just make Johnny look like a jackass.
Yeah.
But in the wrong way.
You're not even good at winning other people's matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even cheat right, dude.
Yeah.
Not only do you lose every important match you've ever had, but you're not even able to help someone else get a win in their important match. You're so bad at this.
And one of the other things I liked, going back to the Kushida Velveteen Dream match, is I love how at the beginning of the match, Dream is dressed up, looking like, what's his name? Doc
Brown.
Yeah, Doc Brown from Back to the Future. And at the end of the match, he looked like, the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. All that
He
hair
looked like
dye
a
was
Rick.
just coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just painting his face silver. He could have been someone from Kiss by the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He did the cameo for Jericho later.
I'm going to film a thing later.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did think that was funny. When he came out dressed like Doc Brown, I was like, oh my God. Some of these idiots are going to love this.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I text you. But I was like, the only thing that would have made it better if he looked like Biff. But
Yeah.
I don't
I think that would have
was-
made more sense if he looked like Biff.
No, 100%. But I don't think you could have pulled it off. There's nothing that he could dress up and you're like, oh, that's Biff.
Yeah. That'd have been weird. It'd been tough. You would have thought he was Buzz from Home Alone or something. You'd been like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
What'd you guys think about them renaming the Performance Center the Capitol Wrestling Center and putting together that video package in the beginning about the legacy of Capitol Wrestling?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool. I dug it. And I really like the new look with the virtual screens on the back wall and then some fans in their own little pods in the front. They're separated by plexiglass.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I like the look of it, and looking at it, it makes you think you could travel with that. If you found like
Yeah.
a small enough little room, like you don't need the TCC to put on that show. If you're only having a dozen or two people actually show and the rest are going to be virtual crowds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could probably travel with something like that.
I do think that's a ways away, just in terms of like what's going on with the virus and stuff. But
I don't know. I don't know contracts.
But see, I think you can travel with that without the virtual fans. If that's, once everything gets back in, to swing and you can have, full audiences, I think that's the way you travel.
I think you do the virtual fans on the back two walls. There's no reason
I'm
why
saying
you wouldn't.
No, I'm just saying afterwards. After, when fans can attend and they're actually in, I think you tour like that with the plexiglass, with the chains on it.
Oh, and just keep a separation between the fans and the wrestlers anyways?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, you probably could. Probably could.
As much as it sucks and, you want the fan interaction and, giving them high fives and stuff like that, like, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem like more... It does seem a little more brutal when they get knocked into stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I did really like the Capital Wrestling thing. A lot of people were freaking out about them, quote, renaming the Performance Center. Oh, like we don't know it's the Performance Center. And I was like, I don't think they're talking to you like you're stupid. I think they're turning what was once a training facility and rebranding it as a new location. I think they're getting away from Full Sail.
Yeah.
They don't need Full Sail anymore.
And
Right?
I think WWE might have realized it that, instead of, hey, let's sit here at Full Sail, we have our own facilities. We don't need to, be with them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and
go ahead.
with everything going on, and we don't know how long it will be until things go back to where they were. Yeah, like this is, you may not be able to use Full Sail. You may not be able to control some of the environment, the factors there. Why not make, your space is something special, where they can become, even after this, like an event place. Like I could see this almost becoming like, when things go back to normal, the equivalent of like a Muppet Studios for WWE or something like that, or like a, like a Disney, a Disney or Universal. You get what I mean? In that.
Nope.
Oh,
yeah, we are definitely
you.
lost here.
No,
Clint.
keep
No,
expanding. I'll
I
get
know-
there.
I know what he's trying to say. Like, it's
it
a
could,
destination for fans to go see.
yeah.
Sort of like how at Royal Rumble Access they had a ring there, and they with a couple little bleachers, and they just put on some matches you could just go check out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe maybe it could become something more of like an expansion. Maybe, this becomes a full-fledged part of how they produce content and stuff, and it becomes, shit, they're in Orlando. There's a lot of other things in Orlando. Why not, in addition to, well, we're going to go to Disney World, we're going to go to Universal Studios, let's go to the Capital Wrestling Center, because that is, yeah.
And
And if
with the
it's
Performance Center being as big as it is, you could put in a wing that's the actual Hall of Fame.
I was
That's
just
exactly
thinking
what I was
that.
gonna say.
I was definitely just gonna say that.
Oh, everyone's gonna say it, but I'm the one who did. Fuck
Every-
all y'all.
And everyone thought I was everyone gave me shit for coming up with a fucking idea.
How
Oh
cool
no,
is
I
that?
don't understand English when Eric talks.
Well,
have
I
a
think you
permanent
lost
place for
everyone when you said Muppet
Yeah.
Studios.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
I
Muppets
was watching the
totally threw
Muppets
us
movie,
off.
and a part of the Muppets movie is the Muppet Studios, even though it doesn't really exist. I should have stuck with like.
Yeah,
Fuck, I
Muppet
don't
Studio, Muppet movie's pretty
Yeah.
good. It's pretty good though.
But
Yeah.
how cool would that be to have a permanent place for all the history that we've been saying for so long?
And I think the warehouse is out in that way, isn't it?
Nope, that
It's in
is in
Connecticut?
Stanford. Yep.
Okay.
But
Still
go
on
ahead,
that side of the, still on that side of the country.
Yeah, but you could move it if you needed to. But that's just
And
it.
they
I
might-
was thinking, I bet you they're with the amount of money they saved this quarter. Remember they were like 40 million up or something crazy. I bet you they looked at some of that and said, well, if we cut out the contract with Full Sail and reshifted some of that into building a new performance center, we could just turn the performance center now into our own facility like Full Sail
Yeah.
and just have a new training facility somewhere else that's, you know, bigger or better or whatever.
The other thing too, and I think maybe like another benefit to this is so much of the talent really lives down there.
Yeah.
Why not move all of your operations there? We know that the lease on Titan Tower is over this year. They have to look for a new headquarters, or evidently they've been in talks or even construction in a new headquarters because they will not be in Titan Tower for
Yeah,
very long.
They were
Yeah.
already.
Why not bring
built.
stuff down and make?
Yeah, the building was almost done. They just froze it because of the pandemic. But at this point, with the amount of money they saved, I bet you they finished that building.
Yeah, they
But
were
there's like
going-
pictures of it and stuff.
Earlier this year, I think they were going to start moving people over, but then once the pandemic hit, they definitely stopped.
Yeah, because I was looking at jobs they were having about people going in there and helping build their infrastructure and stuff.
But real quick,
ahead.
completely forgot to mention this in the news, but they have some new recruits. NXT now has some recruits, so we're talking about talent in general. That's something I wanted to throw out there. You have anything to add or not? Okay. Forget it.
I guess the Performance Center had some people sign on, like they do all the time, because that's their job. The only names on there, I mean, I don't know all these people. There's only 2 of them I recognized. Whoa!
Whoa.
Did we just get a follow
No, we got
after that?
posted.
Someone's hosting us after that?
Thank you,
Wow.
AGETV247, who is now hosting us. Thank you.
24/7 AGTV, huh? Hell yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Cheers to that. Sorry about before. The only 2 names that I recognize was Jake Clemens, who's a referee from Evolve, and you guys would remember him as the referee who was wearing the Seth Rollins t-shirt during that match with Kevin Owens. Remember that?
Okay.
The ref did the fast count and gave Seth the win, and KO was like, "What the hell was that?" And Seth's like, "I don't know." And then like KO rips his ref shirt off, and he's wearing a Monday Night Messiah shirt underneath it.
That was so good.
So funny.
I remember that because Marsh was furious before that. He was like, "What is going on with this ref? This ref is crazy.
Yeah.
This is horrible." And then once that
What's
that
this guy's
twist
deal?
happened, he loved it.
Yeah, I was like, I knew it. The guy was also, as a little fun fact for him, if you check out Refereeing 101 on Fight TV, you can, for $1.99, see Jimmy Carderas host what do you call those? Not like a training camp, but like the seminars.
Seminar?
Yeah, he does like a seminar about reffing and talks about all the basics and things you should know and things you should consider. The difference between working on indie levels and working in television produced levels and stuff like that. And takes a ton of questions, and it was incredible. It was like 3 hours long. They did a little interview with Jimmy after that, and I'm just watching this all like, thank you for sending me to school. Like, no place in town I could find said they even had any idea of how they might train a referee. There's like, I don't know, we just tell people to go in there and count. Like, I don't fucking know. And it's like, what? There's things to know, man. So this was really cool. And I noticed when I was watching it, I was like, is that fucking kid who had the Seth Rollins t-shirt on? And it was. Jake is one of the kids learning from Jimmy Corderas in that DVD. So that was pretty
Hell
cool.
yes.
The other person I noticed was Brandy Lauren. And she's an indie wrestler who showed up in... Well, she was one in the hot tub with Damian Priest when he celebrated. She also got her ass kicked by, I think, Marina Shafir in Raw Underground. And not as notably at all, but something of interesting note is that she's currently dating Joey Janela. So I thought she was going to pop up in AEW at any moment.
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting, not like a notable thing for her, but it is interesting if someone's working for one company that is so openly signing people, and they go somewhere else. It's curious. You know what I mean? I wonder if not everybody. I just wonder if not everybody who's at AEW loves it as much as all the fans want to believe that they all do. I bet you some people are frustrated.
The thing is, it's also, I mean, it's not necessarily fair to say that. There's quite a few performers who work, who are couples where one is on one side, one is on the other. And I don't even like that I said sides, but it might be this is the best option for them. This was offered to them. It might.
How many
There's a
women
lot
do we
we can
actually
say we
see?
don't know.
As a woman, if I'm actually taking this as a career move, I'm looking at how women are used on the product, and gotta say, only one of them has a real, what I would consider a women's division.
That's true too. I could also see that even just from that standpoint alone, if she was all like, well, NXT has arguably the greatest women's roster of all time, and AEW is still getting their footing. If I've got an opportunity to jump into the NXT one, maybe I do that with no other things to consider,
Yeah.
So that could be as well. Could definitely be as well. Let's see. So yeah, just the two of them are the only ones I knew who they were. Oh no, the third one, Leon Ruff, who's been out there getting his ass kicked left and right for a while.
Aja's boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah, he also dating Aja, the referee. Also signed with NXT, so kind of cool. It's nice to see a little bit of company growth down there.
Yeah.
Let's see. As far as the NXT show, we did have also the big reveal on Takeover leading into Dynamite. Toni Storm is back. That's it. That's all I remember. Well, also Ember Moon came back to kick the shit out of everybody.
Is it bad that I was kind of sad it wasn't Bo Dallas?
I agree with what you said. That it is sad that you were upset. I didn't understand how many people thought it was going to be Bo. Now, what was funny is Ember Moon tweeted something out like, I bet you can't believe it or something like that. Like, or she says, you can try, you can do it if you believe or something like that. Like, she said something about it, and I just thought that was hysterical.
I mean, it would have been cool. Bo.
I don't know, man. I guess I never saw enough of Bo Dallas for me to be all like, oh my God, can you imagine Bo Dallas coming back? I
don't think it would have been a comeback. It would have been like oh shit. Like, it would have been not like an exciting moment in the sense of what he did. It would have been like, like just different. I think he wasn't a bad champion, but like, use him. He's young. Let's see what he can do.
I was low-key really hoping that they were going to save Ember for Royal Rumble, because I feel like it didn't. I don't know if it got as much of a reaction as they were expecting, and I am a really big Ember fan.
Yeah, there was something about it that seemed a little bit lackluster, and I think what it was is, for one, you just had everyone pop because Toni Storm's all like, I'm coming back to NXT, and then you're also like, oh, here's another comeback, so you're already like, okay, who is it? The thing about Toni Storm that she's bringing over that Ember's not is Tony's still kind of able to ride the wave of all of her hype. She didn't come over and fizzle out. Every time she showed up, it's been money. You had Ember have a good run on NXT, and I loved the way that they did the Eclipse storyline at first, where she was injuring everybody with it, and I was like, fuck, the thing's brutal. And then she had a short run as champion. She never got to beat her demon of Asuka. You know what I mean? She essentially had a tremendous feud with Asuka and could never beat Asuka. And then she kind of seems to get the title because they're not sure what to do with it. And then she goes to Raw and kind of disappears. She shows up in a couple matches and does well, and then that's kind of it. So she's not coming over with a ton of fanfare. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is they saved Bo for the Royal Rumble.
Kevlar, take your pills!
I did.
All right, I heard that.
It's been so long since I heard that noise.
Yeah, I was looking around for a second. But maybe Bo Dallas comes back for the Royal Rumble and everyone loses their shit.
All I hear is
one person.
What are you typing?
He's texting.
You.
Yeah. Not even his family? Huh, why are you here?
Yeah. What?
Ain't you supposed... That's why you said you couldn't watch fucking kids. Okay.
Yeah. But it is really cool to have Ember back. I do think it's exciting also that you're having Tony come over there. The thing is, I just feel like the Raw division needs women more than NXT's division does. So I'm kind of like, well, what are you guys doing over here? This is like a majorly stacked main event scene, you know?
But we have a bunch of possible NXT folks in Retribution, so now going over somewhere. So, I don't know.
Ember Moon was dressed a little bit like Retribution. What do you guys think of that?
Quit lumping everyone into fucking Retribution.
Well, Tommaso Ciampa came out with a mask, so he's next,
Yeah.
obviously.
I'm sorry, but it is less than Dark Order, so you can stop there, Klump.
What are you talking about? No one's in Dark Order.
There's always just so many people that come out.
Yeah, but none of them have names. I'm telling you, these people got names.
No, recently they named them. Numbers.
Why are you
remember?
referencing me? I'm not acknowledging this bullshit.
Numbers aren't names. Like I said,
said last week.
Ciampa is coming out in Retribution on the draft, I'm sure, but he's wearing a mask. Also, Ember has like a hood face thing and dressed kind of like Retribution, so given. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If Retribution's really taking out the WWE, then they're going to need to hit it from all angles. They're going to have an NXT branch, a SmackDown branch.
Wouldn't that defeat the point of what they are?
For life.
Better throw Elias in there somewhere, too.
Elias can join Retribution. He can come out with a guitar and a mask and no one will know who he is.
You hear the guitar strum? This is Retribution.
Hello, we're Retribution.
Yeah. Who's that? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God. So good.
It would
So
be great
good.
if they built it up like, oh, it's going to be Elias, and then it was Double J.
Yeah. Well, they sort of
Who's
did
that
that
guy
at the
with
Rumble.
Yeah. Who's that guy with the guitar? It's got to be Elias. Fucking Double J.
Yeah. Are we frozen? Good.
Yeah.
I agree. So, what do you guys think about Ember and Tony and all that? Anything I just said?
I'm very excited to see Ember come back. I've not seen a lot of Tony Storm, so I'm curious, but I've not seen a lot of them. I know that they're great. I'm more excited to see Ember because I agree with you. Their run's been weird. Their run in NXT was amazing. Their run in the main roster was just as it seemed to be getting off its feet, she got hurt.
Yeah.
So I want them to build her back up because she's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really exciting. And then the match she had at the end, I don't know if you guys got a chance. Did you guys get to catch all of NXT this week or?
No, not a whole lot.
No. She was in a tag match with Rhea against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, and it was absolutely tremendous. I'm going to tell you this right now. I think you guys should watch that match and tell me if Dakota doesn't just turn babyface in that match. She's getting the shit kicked out of her by everyone the whole match. I felt so bad for her by the end of it. And Ember Moon came in there with a ton of stiff shots. Dude, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. I'm all like, God, no one likes Dakota, I think. Like, they're just beating the shit out of her.
Whose bag did she shit in?
Yeah. And she takes fucking bumps better than almost anyone in the women's division, I think. It hit me as I'm watching this. I was like, she is so good about getting the shit kicked out of her. Klump, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Kev says he can't hear me. It's got to be on his side, though, if Klump can hear me, because he's being fed through the same thing. Klump, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
What do you want me to tell him?
It's got... Well, I'll tell him right now. It's your side, pal. Kev, is that you? Klump, can he hear you, Klump?
Kev, can you hear me?
I can hear.
Oh, Jesus
Well-
Christ.
Oh, my God, I knew it. I don't know how this shit happens from time to time. Remember how, like, last week it was...
I could hear Klump perfectly fine,
See?
Do you want me to reset?
even when you were talking about Marsh.
We might need to
Ember
quit
Moon.
FaceTime and reopen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kev can hear me. That was the loudest thing ever.
Hey, Klump, tell Kev to hang up and call right back.
Kevin, Hang up and call right back.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for not yelling.
Okay.
He didn't even yell. It just, I don't know what happened, but he spoke clearly in his mic and it just hit. Like, fuck.
Yeah. I know. It was kind of surprising, too, because he's, like, not saying anything. I was like, hey, can you ask him? And he's like, oh, yeah, I can hear you just fine. It's like, all right. Let's see. So that match in and of itself, I thought was brutal. I thought Dakota Kai probably sells the best of the entire women's division and is tremendous. Man, you guys missed a couple of cool things this one. Did you guys happen to see Drake Maverick and Killian Dane?
Yes.
You
I
did
heard
see
that
that?
they're buddies, kind of.
Oh, they're best friends, man. Did you hear that music, Kev?
Dude, it was so great. And the
So
way
good.
Drake was dancing to it.
Yeah. I started realizing how funny I think Drake Maverick is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was hilarious.
Yeah. It was so
Ray
good.
alive.
I really like where this is going. I like that Killian Dane goes to do a powerbomb on Drake. And Drake's like, what are you doing, man? Stop, what are you doing? And then slams him into their opponent. And then he just gets the win. But, like, the whole time he's screaming, like, dude, don't. Like.
Yeah, his dumb dance.
Yeah.
Is so funny.
So it's kind of like how War Raiders use each other as weapons, except that one of them's not in on it. Did not agree to this.
Yeah.
So I think it's working really well.
And it's so great that Killian's just so serious that I believe it. It's not like he breaks at any point. He's like, okay, like he's just so pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Love it.
perfect straight man in it. Did you guys
And
see
I
what's
love
going on?
that-
Was oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I love that Killian Dane, carried Drake off, and Drake, was like all excited, and then pretended to be hurt again, and then was all excited about it. And
Yeah. He's a fool. It's great. I like it a lot. Let's see. Zia Lee seems like she signed up with Boa. I think the big thing that happened, though, apart from those things, if you guys haven't seen the clip of Ember doing the Eclipse, I can send it to you guys because this one was like one of the best I ever. I was like, oh well, she
No,
just killed Dakota.
yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was gnarly. Did you see it, Klump?
I did not.
Dude,
Please
it's when you see it, it's also like, oh yeah, that's a devastating move. Like Dakota just goes limp, and you go, yeah, of course she's dead. Why would she move at all? And then the other thing that happened, I think, on Dynamite is Ridge Holland got hurt bad. Did you guys
NXT.
see this?
Yeah.
What?
NXT, not
On
Dynamite.
NXT. Well, it's all Dynamite, right?
No, it's not. And you're not drinking.
Yeah, he got
right now.
bonked hard.
What the hell?
Yeah. What? Oh my god. So, what did you guys think leading into NXT Dynamite? What did you think of Takeover ending with Ridge Holland carrying out the limp child-like body of Adam Cole?
I didn't care about it at all because I don't like Adam Cole.
Yeah, but that's why I liked about it, because Ridge Holland had the dead body of Adam Cole in hand, and I was like, oh, I can get behind this guy.
I like corpses.
Yeah. I like Ridge Holland so much, and I was watching this match against Danny Burch, and I was like, man, I can't wait till tomorrow when we can talk about what a huge fucking star Ridge Holland is going to be and how much I'm behind him. And the impression he left on me when I saw him in the Thunderdome during that fucking non-televised match when they were doing the setup and I was part of their little tech experiment. I remember seeing the dude and I was like, this guy is a monster, man. He's huge. He looks brutal. He's so good. And then at the end of this match, he wins, and then Oney Lorcan comes out. They get into a scuffle. Ridge Holland goes to leave. Danny Burch jumps out onto Ridge Holland. So Ridge Holland starts fighting him again. They go back into the ring. And then again, Ridge Holland leaves. And again, Oney Lorcan just dives out on Ridge Holland. So they start punching again, and they go back into the ring. And they're punching, and then Ridge Holland gets up and leaves again. And he's on the outside. And Oney Lorcan is going for another dive. And at this point, I actually thought, I was like, this is running a little long now. You've done the same spot 3 times. We get it. They're going to have a match next week. Leave it. Why are we still doing this again? You know what I mean? And on that third dive, after I had this thought of this going on too long, they should have just stopped after the last one. I don't know why they're doing it. It's a really simple, basic dive. So you don't think anything of it other than I just thought time was going on. And fucking it blows up Ridge Holland's leg. Just decimates it.
Yeah.
He's sitting there. Let me show you. I got a list here. Ryan Satin tweeted out, according to WWE's injury report, Ridge Holland underwent surgery today after suffering multiple injuries last night. Now, I saw a lot of people going like, oh, he blew out his knee. Oh, his knee looks bad. And I was going to send you guys a picture when I knew you guys had seen it. Because
ankle.
Yeah, his ankle was like twisted backwards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They show him at first, and he kind of like tucks his one leg over the other one. And it's like,
right now.
What? Yeah, he's trying to find it right now. And his ankle seems to be facing the wrong direction. And I was like, fuck, I think he broke his ankle. So the injuries include, as Ryan Satin reports, ankle dislocation and fracture, right knee patellar dislocation, patellar tendon rupture. That dude's ankle and knee just exploded.
Yep.
That is gnarly, man.
But wait, wasn't that his...
Oh, shit.
Wasn't that his left ankle? So it's his left ankle and his right knee?
Oh, my God. Was it? I bet you're right.
And that would make sense because in the fall, because when I'm looking at the angle, it looks like... Do you guys remember when Sid tried to do the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. The right knee. Yeah.
But in trying to probably support the rest of his body and the other guy, he could have blown his knee too.
Yeah.
Yeah, on his other... Yeah, you're right. His right knee, and that looks like his left ankle. So, yeah, the guy's just like, all right, I used to have legs.
Yeah.
And then you can hear screaming when it happens. And at first I was trying to figure out if that was Oni or Ridge. And they're saying it was Ridge. But you just hear like, wow!
Oh, no,
Yeah.
When you watch the replay, you can see him screaming.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, his legs exploded, dude.
I'm not gonna call him a wuss.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm not saying that at all. Then you, like, when you read about the injuries, You're just like, good Lord. Like,
it's fucking horrifying.
yeah, how does anyone get that many injuries in one time from what looked like such a simple move? Here's the other thing that's even worse about it is Oni's like half the size of Ridge. This probably on paper was the easiest shit they could have thought up to do. You know what I mean? You'll just dive on me and I'll catch you because I can lift more than you weigh by a lot. You know what I mean? And then this little dude dives on him and he's just all like, pop. Like, what?
Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, pop. Pop, 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 pop. Wah!
This is gonna be we'll do this. It's the safest spot of the match. You got this. Yeah, I totally.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, nothing crazy, nothing fancy, nothing dangerous. Just do a regular crossbody. I'll catch you. Okay. And then his legs are just mush now.
It's all dangerous.
Fucking crazy. And that's just it. It's all dangerous.
If you just land the wrong
But
way, if you catch the wrong way, that's it.
Yeah, that's the deal.
The worst part about it is, when you actually hear the injuries and realize that it's his left ankle and his right knee, that means the recovery time is going to be that much longer.
Yeah, that's going to be bad, dude. Man. And what's crazy, too, is those guys' legs look like trunks.
Yeah.
He's got, like, Big E-style legs. You're just like, what? That's what I mean. When you read about it, it's just... Yeah.
And when it's both legs, there are no crutches for that. You got a wheelchair, man.
Yeah. You can't work on one leg if you don't have at least one. Yeah, it's wild and it sucks. And man, I was so looking forward to this guy's run because you're just like, oh, clearly he's getting set up to have a cool run with Finn Balor. They're both from Europe. I bet you they do this British strong style shit real good. I was so excited and looking forward to it, and now it's all like, well, I guess it's definitely going to be on hold for a while. So, I don't know. Absolutely nuts. Was there anything else in NXT that you guys wanted to make sure you touched on?
Kushida beating Ciampa was pretty amazing.
Kushida lost the match, but I agree with the match was pretty good.
Wow, these results I'm reading are terrible.
Dream came in and hit Ciampa on accident with his cast.
Which I was actually wondering. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was wondering how. Okay. I was wondering how you guys felt about Dream being a part of any matches? Because I do remember that as we were watching, a lot of people were pretty upset. So I wonder if you guys have any take on that.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I don't think he should be performing. Period. I know that, from my perspective, I understand. I view the upsetness with him as valid. I view the questions of him being part of the WWE as valid because, they're you can go online and see, what's the evidence is. It doesn't look great. It really, truly doesn't. And there's a fair amount of it. And when, it got announced that basically that he got a talking to from what it sounded like, and that he'd continue to be there, it didn't shut down. And it's actually, I feel like, if anything, it's been made worse by this past week. Triple H on a earnings call stated that Velveteen Dream's personal life is affecting his performance, and I think that that's the least you could say a while ago. So, in my view, it is kind of difficult to see him on TV. It's nice to see him get beat, but maybe it'd be nicer to see somebody else have that spot.
I could see that. I think that the thing that people, I think for one, we actually don't have all the evidence. We have what is being spread around on Twitter, and that's not the same thing. I think there's a lot there that's definitely questionable and worth looking into. I think the fact that WWE acknowledged it specifically and said that they didn't find grounds for it is something that is being dismissed much quicker than people are even giving any kind of credence to. Other companies and even on other people they've had have let people go or made no comment whatsoever on other things as well. The fact that they allowed attention to draw to it, it makes me wonder. I agree. I think he came back a little soon, and it'd be nice to know that there's more to it. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're not privy to that information because it's none of our fucking business. That's not to say that we have to support him or agree with any of that shit, but we're also not lawyers. We're not in the room with any of these talks. We don't know how much is actually happening, and we're just all basing it off of assumption. So, yeah, I'm going to boo him and probably not care about his matches, but I never have. So, for me, I don't care if he disappears or not. But I also don't know if it's fair to say, well, he definitely did this, even though that there's a number of statements saying that they looked into it and found nothing. Or they're bullshitting and it's bullshit and something happened and it's not being looked into. But I don't have enough information on either side to take that stance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is true. With Enzo, they just got rid of him, right?
Enzo, they let go of. Jack Gallagher, they let go of right away. There was like 3 or 4 people from NXT UK who just gone. A referee they got rid of right away. Like, it seems like that people who had something happening that they felt with their digging in a little deeper, that it seems like when they found something, they immediately let somebody go. It didn't seem like they were like holding on. But I don't know. I mean, I could be very naive in that as well. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he did or didn't do anything. I'm saying I don't have any of the fucking evidence to say. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how many of these same people that are complaining about Dream have no problem with Sammy Guevara.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's coming up really, because that is something that.
Or Justin Roberts showed up on a few of those things, like.
No, and I don't think that that's a common thing. I mean, if I'm honest with you, I do draw a parallel with him and Sammy. I think, we don't. Sammy's thing was statements made, which is fucked up, and what was wrong there was, they shouldn't have brought his ass back the way they did.
Yeah.
And I don't think him in the role he's in is fair right now either. I think with Dream, it could have been handled similarly. He maybe needed more time off, because optics-wise, having him pretty much just continue was pretty fucked up. I know that we don't know, and from what it sounds like, they didn't find anything enough to release him. But optics-wise, maybe let him sit out for a little while. because it is attention grabbing, and you know it is weird, and you know I'm just giving what I thought of it when you guys asked.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that your opinion isn't valid at all. I think it's absolutely a valid opinion.
Mhm.
I'm just saying I don't know that I can formulate what I believe to be a valid opinion because I don't feel like I'm in the loop. I'm reading shit on Twitter, and the only thing I know
Yeah.
about Twitter is none of that shit's real. Nothing on Twitter is real. Twitter is not real life. I have to
Bullshit.
believe that people don't talk that way, they don't think that way, and they don't act that way every day of their life.
To an
But-
extent, but also Twitter was the main avenue for so much of this to come to light.
I'm
it
not
can't
saying
be
that
totally
shit didn't
discounted
happen
either.
through Twitter, but I'm saying that when I see everyone on Twitter gang up and say that this is our group think now, that's not enough for me to say, well, that's definitely valid then.
That's
You know what I
fair.
mean? That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying is that I only see this shit on Twitter. I'm not in the meetings. I'm not in the courtroom. Did you see the Matt Riddle? There's a case against him now. I mean, there was always been the accusations, but the person who made the accusations actually filed a lawsuit now, which I think it's very good. I think that if these things happened, that's the right way to go about that. Let's
civilly.
take it to court and do it, right? I'm not saying like, hey, he should keep his job until. I'm not saying any of that shit. I don't know about any of that shit, but I'm saying if someone does the things that these people are being accused of doing, yes, make a lawsuit, take him to court, show the evidence, let it be decided the way that those things should be decided. The court of public opinion, I'm not a big fan of in general, because I don't feel like the public gets the right facts to make an opinion. The shit you end up finding out in court is stuff that you always go, oh shit, I didn't realize that at all. You know what I mean? Like the amount of stuff you don't know, I think is what makes the court of public opinion unfair. There's a really cool documentary series about it as well, where I think it's called the court of public opinion. Or no, Media by Trial. Trial by Media is what it's called on Netflix. And it's really cool. And it doesn't even go into like this person, you know, it's just an interesting concept. And I just think that, the social media trials, I just don't find it fair to anybody involved, not even the victims. I don't think it's fair to them.
No,
It's a good place to get a conversation started for sure, but I'm glad to see some of this going to court.
No, and I do get that. I think, you know, there's a great book called So You've Been Publicly Shamed where they talk about this. And I think, to me, like, the big thing in terms of why I think maybe he needs more time off, and that would be the right action. Even if somebody, you know, if you don't see actions there, we're going to give you some time off to sit and be off his heat. Give them time, give them space to pull this away so that they're not in the spotlight. That's, and if nothing else, so that you can, you know, see if more comes up, see if somebody decides to file a lawsuit, because that now does bring more scrutiny and more questions to Matt Riddle. But for instance, Marty Scurll, he came up in a few things. And some of it's not looking too great. He's been pretty fucking quiet. And Ring of Honor's been pretty quiet with him. And that's, you know, I think that's the route maybe that should have happened in the first place here was, hey, you know, we're not seeing stuff, but we really should pause your program for a bit, at the very least, just to see what happens, to see what's going on here. Because optics-wise, to me, I can't help but feel kind of sympathetic in terms of that part. You know, that
it can feel dismissive.
Yes, that's why it felt, because it wasn't even so much that the part of it being, it was that he was in a featured program up front, and that it was we're not even a pause. And it was something I said I was a bit frustrated about with Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys could have slowed this down a bit, and I know that you've made the product, but maybe we need to pause. Because there's some talk happening, you know, and I do think the way AEW did it was maybe the worst way you could have done it, because fuck. Mainly because I know that's a way to get a cheap happy giggle from both of you is to shit on AEW. But
I mean, I don't know that anybody's handled it perfectly, except, I mean, like you said, I think that maybe the venom is that people think that things are being dismissed in lieu of having things seriously looked at, because things seem to take less time than one would think. You know what I mean? But like, There's just also a lot of information we don't have there. Maybe there's an ongoing investigation thing happening, but they keep Matt Riddle on the TV because that's how the show's written right now, and they're just going to do that, and if he disappears, he disappears. I don't know. I don't know their thought process. You know what I mean?
He gets in a limbo and explodes.
Yeah, he just blows up. But I just don't know. And so much of the public opinion is based off of assumptions of what should be done, what shouldn't be done, how long something's supposed to take, how long it's not supposed to take. Everyone's an absolute expert in how to do everything right every time. And I'm just saying I don't know that I'm an expert in that every time. So I don't know how to handle the situations. I agree. I think that the idea of what's happening with Skrull and taking a knee, at least for a while, can, if nothing else, give credence to the idea of we need to take this seriously. I can't focus on other things right now.
Yes.
And I can understand that. And I understand the thought process behind that as well. So I don't know. Kev, what do you think?
Just basically exactly, what you say. We don't know the level of any of this. We don't know the evidence out there. The, public opinion, it's tough, nowadays because everyone's, for the most part is guilty until proven innocent. And even then, there's a lot of times, with, people in all sorts of high profile, jobs, athletes, celebrities that, their case gets missed or they're found not guilty and they still have that stigma around them and it never leaves them. And it's just all public opinion at that point.
Yeah, the first thing everyone hears is the thing that people will believe moving forward. I mean, on a different level, think about Brian Pillman. If you ask people how he died, what are they going to tell you?
Stone Cold killed him.
Well, no, he tried to kill Stone Cold with that gun, right? But everyone's going to talk about how, it was a shame he died of that drug overdose. Well, he didn't die of a drug overdose. He died of a heart condition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the levels of drugs they'd found in his system were so minute that it wouldn't have killed a child. Like, he had one beer and, like, a sleeping pill. You know what I mean? Like, or a muscle relaxer or something like that. Like, when you read up about it or look into it, it's all like, he didn't die from that stuff at all. But that's what they said on TV right when it happened.
That was the initial report.
Yeah, was that he must have died from a drug overdose.
But even autopsies can take weeks.
Yeah, and autopsies take weeks, and by the time it comes out, everyone goes, yeah, they go, did you hear about that dude who died? You're like, the drug overdose guy? They're like, yeah, no. You know what I mean? Like, I just think all this shit's a little more complex than just, hey, you see a thing, and then that's the truth and matter of fact forever. Like, it should take more time and should be played out better, and I do think more things need to go to court than go to court.
Although, if there's one thing we've learned from all these documentaries we've been watching, legislation or everything going through the court always takes a long time.
Yeah.
So investigations as well, depending on HR, can also take a long time because they do want to be thorough as well. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to present your case, and the prosecution has to accept the case and say, yes, we want to press charges on this. And, we don't know with a lot of this where if a victim tried to go to court and the prosecution sits there and says, there's not enough there. And it ends there. And obviously I'm not trying to defend anyone. I'm just, just both sides of the story here. And, we don't know shit besides what, Twitter tells us and whatnot.
Yeah. I think it's hard to know what the right call is because I think that we're given so little information. We just watch TV shows and laugh at the tag team who doesn't want to be a tag team and cheer for the guy who breaks his jaw and keeps fighting. But at the end of the day, you get on Twitter and you just see a bunch of nonsense mixed in with actual things happening, and it's hard to navigate. And that's the most simple form of it all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I have the right answer of how it should all be dealt with. So I don't know. And like I said, I mean, when it comes to Velveteen Dream, like, not ever being super interested in the guy to begin with, I didn't feel super interested to find out more about the stuff either. I heard some of the rumors and went, I hope they look into that. That's not good stuff. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know that I'm there to make the judgment. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
100%.
fair. No, I think that's a I think it's a fair way to put it. Like, it's we don't. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think ultimately what we're all coming to is that there's a lot more to this than we understand. However, maybe in some ways we can come to it feels as though it's been handled in a way that I think we all can see flaws in.
It doesn't look good at first sight. You know what I mean? I'll give you that for sure. You look at it and you go, I hope they handled this right. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know that I have the information to make the judgment other than saying, it doesn't look great right now.
Yeah. Fair.
I mean, and all you can really hope for is justice in the end. And if it's like he was on TV for a couple months and made someone else look good and then disappeared because they found shit and he had to go, then you go, okay, well, it caught up to him. You know what I mean? And I think it's also okay for shit to catch up to people. And I hope it does. I hope it catches every single person that did something shitty.
Yeah, you just want the truth. Like if
Yes.
they did it, yeah, fuck them. They should be fired, and they shouldn't, charges should be brought up against them. But if they didn't, then it's like, all right, let's move past it. But a lot of times it's hard.
Yeah, and if I don't know, then I'm just watching TV with whatever's on because I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Was there anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Man, I feel bad for Ridge Holland, man.
Yeah,
That dude was about to have a title match. Yeah, I just think of that match we could have had with Finn Balor as a champion and Ridge Holland, and man, I hope it gets well soon. I hope he has a speedy recovery, and I hope he starts doing a drop kick just to throw it in everybody's face.
He starts doing a diving big boot. And you're like, no!
Yeah,
Literally
don't.
It's the opposite of this. You're just mocking God.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just looking through. I don't think there's anything else. Like you said, Halloween Havoc's coming back. Excited. I think it's really cool for Shotzi Blackheart. She's gonna host it. I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I think that's it, man. I think that's it.
Just doing
Was there anything else you wanted to bring up, producer? Any more curveballs? No. We did notice that MissionProWrestling.net is doing custom matches. You can order matches. A custom section will be found in our website menu. They gave a list of wrestlers that you can say you want to see have a match, and you pay for it, and they will have a match.
That's
Which is
really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Like, especially since we just had this discussion of one promotion only having what seems to be dream matches. It's cool to offer that option for those fans.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of cool where it's like, hey, here's some indie stars. Is there a setup that you've wanted to see for a long time? Well, now you can just go ahead and book it yourself, which I think is pretty cool.
I think it's a perfect example of getting creative during these crazy times.
Oh, yeah. No, and we're big supporters of MissionProWrestling.net. You guys can give us a big support by liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, finding us at WrestlingOnRocks.com to see all of our links and get our podcast, get our T-shirts, which are 20% off right now with the promo code FALL. Guys, I think that's the last call.
Boom.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys on... Oh, you know what I did want to talk about? I just realized the whole time... I just want to know what you guys thought about Ali joining Retribution.
And I'm glad that he's being utilized.
Do you think he'll be a decent fit, or do you think this is gonna flop?
Wow, Klump is still not on board with Retribution.
Yeah, I'm not on board with Retribution as is, so it's kind of like...
Yeah, and I want to know if the idea of adding Ali made you feel plus or minus or the same.
No. It still feels kind of like the same to me. Like, I want to like it. I do genuinely try to like...
Don't fucking lie.
Go fuck yourself.
You don't have to lie about it.
No, I go into things with wrestling and I do like, okay, I want to like this. I have struggled to like this. A lot of things I struggle to like and end up not liking, but I do go in like, I wonder what this will be. And this has not worked out.
Kev, what do you think about Ali
Slapjack.
joining Retribution?
I think it could be interesting if they play on his former cop gimmick a lot.
They could. I think they're going to probably lean on the idea of Kofi stole his spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Randy Orton kicked him in the face, and then that was it. Now you guys don't do shit with me. You never take me off main event, and now this is just where I live because someone else made a mistake, not even because of me. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're probably going to lean into that. I saw a really interesting thread on Twitter. I'll find it and send it both you guys. It's only like 5 or 6 tweets in a row, but it is like, here's why each member of Retribution has a reason to be in Retribution. Who? Mia Yim retweeted it. Yeah. Mace went through and made a comment. It was really interesting. I'll send it to both you guys just so you guys can see what was out there because I thought it was neat. Maybe that gives Klump a little bit of a reason to find it interesting. Maybe it doesn't, but we'll see. I just want to know face value if the idea of Ali joining was plus, minus, or the same as far as the Retribution storylines go. And it sounds like Kev is on the fence. Could be a plus. Klump probably didn't watch and felt just wanted to hate it from the get.
The more you build this up, the less I want to now begin to not hate it from the get.
Yeah, Klump Jack, as we're gonna call him moving forward.
What's Ali's fucking name? Ball gag?
That's not a weapon.
Actually, these days,
I guess it could be.
You should actually like this, Klump. You should.
Yeah, it's up your alley, dude. I think Ali's name is gonna be Bad Dragon. That's my thought.
That's held for Akira Tozawa.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Oh my god, no.
Guys, that's last call.
Again.
Cheers.
Cheers.